I'm Jessica Vaughn, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools. We serve more than 200,000 students, including children starting with our early learning programs and continuing with adults through our workforce programs.
I'm Karen Perez, the school board's vice chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of 24,000 people working at close to 250 sites across the county. Nuestro distrito es el 7º más grande de los Estados Unidos y el 3º más grande del estado de Florida. Nuestro equipo está formado por 24 millones de personas que trabajan en cerca de 250 escuelas en todo el condado.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to meet or email any of our board members and follow our district on social media. School board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum 635 and Frontier Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we are making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of October 14th is called to order. Member Perez will now lead us in a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the midst of challenging times and overwhelming situations, remember that caring for your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Take a moment to breathe, find moments of peace and joy in your day, and remember that it's okay to ask for help when needed. You are resilient, capable, and deserving of self-care. Together, let's support each other in taking small steps towards mental well-being. You are not alone in this journey, and your well-being matters. Keep going, stay strong, and remember that you are valued and capable of overcoming any obstacles that come your way. Take care and remember to be kind to yourself. And with that, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Member Perez, will you please acknowledge our student entertainment?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to thank Sulphur Springs PK through 8 Community School, along with Principal Mark Gallard and Director Jay Singleton and Assistant Director Aaron Calabrese. These wonderful students entertained us prior to the start of our board meeting. At this time, we would like to invite the students up to introduce themselves.
My name is Eric. I'm in 8th grade, and I play percussion.
My name is Dimitri. I'm in 8th grade, and I play tuba. Hi, my name is Johnny Wilson. I'm in 8th grade, and I play the tuba.
My name is Antoine Davis. I'm in 8th grade, and I play lower brass.
My name is Marshall Martinez, and I'm in 8th grade, and I play tuba.
My name is Ian Gonzalez. I'm in 8th grade. I play clarinet.
My name is Jeremy, and I'm in 8th grade, and I play clarinet.
My name is Jamari Hall. I'm in 8th grade, and I play euphonium.
My name is Nadia Martinez. I'm in 8th grade, and I play percussion.
Hi, my name is Safana. I'm in 8th grade, and I play alto saxophone.
Tisha, and I'm an 8th grader, and I play percussion.
My name is Leah. I'm a 7th grader, and I play trumpet.
My name is Gabriana, and I'm a 7th grader, and I play trumpet.
My name is Aaron Calabrese, and I'm the assistant band director.
Hi, my name is Janicia. I'm in 8th grade, and I play trumpet.
Hi, my name is Yanni, and I'm in 8th grade. I play flute.
Hi, my name's Azara. I'm in 7th grade, and I play flute.
Hi, my name's Sierra Mandy. I'm in 8th grade, and I play trumpet.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Singleton. I'm the director at Sulphur Springs PK8 Academy.
I'll be back to see you at 10. Okay. How you doing? Good. You all right? Yes, sir. Okay, good. Good to see you.
Fantastic job. Thank you. Okay, I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Washington. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously with the board members present. Please let the record reflect that all board members are present with the exception of Member Rendon. We have one set of minutes to be approved today, September 30th, 2025 school board meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. I have a motion by Member Perez and a second by Member Combs. Any discussion? If not, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we're a nonpartisan board who believe all children can be empowered to learn and to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient agenda statements and questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond, and if you have further questions, you're asked to get back in the queue. Member Perez will now read the board guidelines.
As we begin this afternoon's meeting, please allow me to quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed captioning on live webcasts, on cable TV, and on video monitors here in the auditorium. It can also be viewed with closed captioning on the online video archive.
Thank you. We have one item scheduled for time certain. That's 6 p.m. employee and student input. We'll now move on to recognition of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Best Crew Award. At this time, I'd like to call up Sherry Bollinger, Supervisor of Philanthropy and Special Programs.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members, superintendent, cabinet members, and guests. The Bucs Best Crew program, supported by our amazing partner, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, recognizes remarkable Hillsborough County Public Schools teachers, administrators, and support staff for their outstanding service, overall impact on students, and accomplishments beyond the classroom. We are honored to have Brian Ford, the Chief Operating Officer of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, here today to announce this month's award recipients.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Board, Superintendent, and all guests. I'm Brian Ford, as was mentioned. Thank you for that very warm introduction, as always. I have to say, and I say it every month, this is one of my favorite days every month. So I want to kick off this school board meeting, for those of you in attendance that haven't been here before, on a very positive note. And we have a tradition at One Buck where anybody that goes over and above, and with our current 5-1 record, there's been a lot of these handed out, but anybody that goes over and above gets a game ball. And that's what we're going to present today to a Principal of the Month, a Teacher of the Month, and a Support Staff of the Month. We call it our Best Bucks Crew Award. And we are so honored to be a part of this and to recognize some of these outstanding people that have gone over and above. And wait until you hear these stories. Joining us first is Assistant Principal Bernard Cannon from Jefferson High School. How are you, sir? Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Congratulations. Mr. Cannon, these comments that I'm about to read, when you hear this story, you're going to understand why this young man is here before us today. Just totally goes over and above for Jefferson High School. But these comments are from your peers, your student body, your faculty, and the community at Jefferson High School. So I'm just reading these. I'm the lucky guy that gets to kind of sound off for you and brag a little bit for you here. So this is why we're here today. Mr. Cannon is an exceptional educator and administrator whose unwavering dedication to Jefferson High School has made a profound impact on our entire school community. That's coming from your faculty. He has been described as one of the hardest working administrators in the district, often at school well before dawn, on weekends, and ensuring building in a safe, clean, and ready to welcome 1,300 students each day. His presence and commitment are felt in every corner of the campus. That's remarkable. As athletic director, not only your full-time job, but he has transformed the student-athlete experience, providing opportunities to develop character, leadership, and lifelong skills. As the sports guy, I appreciate that. His efforts have opened countless doors for students to pursue their dreams both on and off the field. Whether overseeing major district events or daily operations, Mr. Cannon's reliability, professionalism, and attention to detail make him indispensable. Beloved by students, staff, families, and he leads with warmth, integrity, and a genuine heart for service. That's saying some stuff here. Congratulations. He is a leader whose impact will be felt for years to come and embodies the very spirit of the Buccaneers Best Crew Award. Thank you. All right, now another big story here. And this is the way to kick off a school board meeting, right? Positive. All right, we have Mr. Stanley Glover, teacher at Marshall Middle Magnet. How about a big round of applause? I like the Buck Red. You got it. Congratulations and thank you. Since 2010, and again, these comments are coming from your peers, your community, your students, everybody at Marshall Middle Magnet. Since 2010, Mr. Glover has been the heart of Marshall Middle School Magnet, guiding young men through life's challenges with compassion, structure, and purpose. Through Gentleman's Quest, founded at Marshall, he built more than a program. He built a brotherhood rooted in love, respect, and high expectations. That's coming. Mr. Glover has inspired hundreds of students, lighting a spark that continues to shine through their success, extending beyond Marshall into Plant City High and beyond. His partnerships with community leaders, businesses, and law enforcement have opened doors for students to see their own potential. That's amazing. In his classroom, so not only are you're right there, Mr. Glover teaches more than academics. He teaches hope, confidence, and character. His students are held to high standards, celebrated with their growth, and supported in every way, whether they need guidance, encouragement, or even the shirt and tie off your back and onto them. That's amazing. For that, many former students still reach out to thank him, carrying his lessons into adulthood and giving back to those who come after them. Mr. Glover's passion is unmatched. His weekends are often spent creating experiences that broaden his students' horizons. He truly embodies what the Best Crew stands for: heart, service, and the power to change lives.
we're missing is the boys need to come to one buck place.
Well, we gotta put that in there. Let's put that in there. We're talking to the right guy.
Yes, sir.
See, I can tell just from that statement that you're always looking out for yourself.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I like that. I like getting hit up like that. That's, you know. All right, next up, another story, this time out of Seminole Heights Elementary School. Tiffany Sotelo, parent, liaison, and aide. Come on up here. This story broke my heart. So. Congratulations. Thank you. That came from your faculty, your principal, your students' parents and families. You've made a really big impact here. This is going to make everybody cry. Tiffany is the kind of teammate whose quiet strength and unwavering dedication make a lasting impact, not just within our school walls, but across the broader community. As parent liaison at Seminole Heights Elementary, she brings heart, hustle, and humility to everything she does, whether she's coordinating family outreach, supporting events, or building new partnerships. Tiffany is always ready to help, no matter how full her plate is. That's some comments. Despite facing mobility challenges, Tiffany shows up every day with a smile and a spirit that inspires. Her flexibility and reliability are unmatched, and her commitment to our families is deeply felt. Long before stepping into her current role, Tiffany was already a fierce advocate for students with disabilities, volunteering her time and energy to uplift and support that community. Tiffany never seeks the spotlight. Today you're getting it because you deserve it. But she absolutely deserves it. This nomination is a tribute to her resilience, her compassion, and her tireless work to make our school and our community a better place for everyone. Tiffany deserves to be recognized because she embodies what it means to serve with heart, resilience, and purpose. Her impact stretches far beyond her job title, as she's a connector, an advocate, and a quiet force behind so much of what makes Seminole Heights feel like a community.
And less nail biting the last week. Congratulations, and thank you for everything that you do for our kids every day. All right, now we're going to move on to recognition of LGBTQ plus History Month, October 2025. Member Perez will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm really excited to highlight this item. In October, we recognize the historical contributions of the LGBT community. The month-long celebration commemorates the role models, and the historical trajectory of the LGBTQ plus movement in ensuring representation and inclusion. The School Board of Hillsborough County recognizes the importance of the LGBTQ plus History Month as an effective means of educating the citizens of Hillsborough County to work together to promote equal protection of all Hillsborough County students and staff. Thank you for allowing me to read that.
Thank you, Vice Chair Perez. Now we'll move on to recognition of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this recognition.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. When I was appointed superintendent in June of 2023, one of my priorities was to have a district where our student perspectives are integral to every decision that we make as a school district. And I just thank you for giving me the opportunity just to recognize our advisory council made up of juniors and seniors of all of our high schools. This is year 3. We've had our first graduating class last year, but my student advisory council that meets with parts of my district staff. As a matter of fact, this first meeting in September, they met with communications, gave communications some good feedback on areas that they see as students where our district can improve and be better. And they've been so beneficial to me as superintendent and my entire team over the last 2.5 years in providing that student voice to our school district. So I just want to take this opportunity to have a short video as well. But before I do so, if I could have there's 29 high schools, as we all know, and 2 of each junior and seniors. So that's 58 students that are part of our Student Advisory Council. And if they could all stand just 1 second and be recognized. So you will be hearing from a few of them during public comment. There's 5 of them are going to speak during public comment. But I do have a short video if we could play. All of our high schools, junior and senior represented, part of our advisory council. So this was the 2-day orientation, really for them to get to know one another. And as we'll, our first meeting in September, hit the ground running, take on some problems of practice, help me with my work, getting student voice. We were just talking just a few minutes ago, really around communications and how, we can get better as an organization, how we communicating to students, number one. So I think this group's really going to help us, and that's just in September. So really looking forward to that.
The Superintendent's Advisory Council is just the global aspect, really, of what's happening at each school, right? And so each school are kind of the more microcosms, if you will, but then that council really gets to be the true representation of Hillsborough County Public Schools at the high school level.
I know for our school we talk about the disconnect between staff and students and the disconnect between the communication. We talk about how we can get students more involved in everything.
When we are making decisions, we are able to cohesively collaborate to compromise on a solution that works not just for the people who the system is working for, but also for those who may not feel like their voice is heard, who may not feel like they've been given that advantage like everybody else.
At Strawberry Crest, we try to include everybody, the entire student voice and student body, to make sure everyone feels heard through Canvas notifications, or we'll have surveys sometimes to just get a feel of what everyone's feeling and what everyone's thinking.
What I learned from Riverview High School and a bunch of our problems, I would take it back to the superintendent to see how we could solve these problems to higher ups and to just develop change to better Riverview High School.
I've seen that the Principal Advisory Council is a council at your school. You all come together and you guys talk about, figure out problems or positive quotations with your school to improve. And then the Superintendent Advisory Council is when you come together with groups from, I think, Hillsborough County, all different schools, and you guys talk about things that you can change from different schools, you can take from other people, and how to improve your school and other people's school. It's like a positive communication, very much so.
You're able to voice your opinions and you're able to speak and tell how you feel, not only for yourself but for others, because some people may not either have the courage or they might not have the access to be able to do so.
Trying to get a representative group of students who come together and work on policy and programs and initiatives that they think will make the school more of a community, create more belonging for students, more buy-in for students, and in the long run, more success for students. Last year, the challenge was to every school, and we didn't make a lot of traction. But this year, we have specific work where we can define what these groups do. And so we're hoping that by the end of the year, we can say, okay, at least half of our high schools have really high-level functioning Principals Advisory Council with student voice that's not just being elicited, but is being responded to. So it's not just about being heard, it's about being engaged with.
And So thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to recognize our advisory council. Just special thanks also to, started with Mr. Brady, Mr. Nelson, and of course Dr. Graves, the chief of schools, leading a lot of the work within those monthly meetings. And now Mr. Brady in his new position, Ms. McCoy is working with alongside Mr. Nelson and Dr. Graves with our advisory council. But year 3, and I will tell you this group is a phenomenal group. We had an incredible work session during the summer, and look forward to having any of you board members that want to come out and pose some problems of practice off our advisory council. You're more than welcome to do so. So thank you.
Thank you and welcome. We're glad to have you here. We're excited to hear what you have to say. And with that, we're going to move on to public comment. The board welcomes comments from citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects your right to speak, and we appreciate you taking your time to be here. You have the right to speak about any issue you'd like, and you'll not be interrupted. However, any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of this meeting will not be allowed. We do request that you try and focus on the issues. Due to the number of speakers who have signed up today, and to ensure all voices are able to be heard, and as aligned with our school board way of work, this afternoon each speaker will be given 2 minutes. We understand there's a lot of people here tonight, and many of you may feel passionately about some of the issues on the agenda. Everyone signed up for public comment has the right to speak and to be heard. We're going to respectfully ask that you not disrupt the speakers by clapping or otherwise interrupting. That way, everybody gets to be heard. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. You have 2 minutes, and they start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern and hear a chime. A red light and a chime will indicate when your time is up. I'll now call up the first 5 speakers.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ella Aiden, and I am a senior representative at Alonzo High School. It is a privilege for me to share my experiences on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council with you today. I want to share some of the things that I have learned and how this council has changed my viewpoint because it is such a fulfilling experience. 2 students from each Hillsborough County school joined the council to present their schools and work toward shared objectives. The value of teamwork has been one of the most important lessons I have taken away. We discussed ways to improve school conditions, enhance parent and student safety, and improve communication within our schools. These conversations attempt to improve our schools for all students, and there are more than just ideas on paper. The chance to interact with students from different schools is an additional benefit that I truly have valued. I first believed that our experiences may differ, but I soon discovered how similar we really are. It's incredible how common struggles can unite individuals, whether they involve school safety concerns or strategies for informing and involving students. My knowledge of our county has increased because of these discussions, and I've also gained empathy, leadership skills, and communication skills that I will utilize beyond this council. I've learned from serving on this council that student opinions are important. We make a significant difference in our schools when we share our thoughts, our worries, and experiences. I have personally witnessed how thoughtful discussion and collaboration between adults and students can result in real-world improvements to communication, safety, and the general school climate. To sum it up, serving on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council has been a tremendous learning opportunity. It has improved my leadership abilities, given me the chance to network with peers through Hillsborough County, and enabled me to help bring beneficial improvements in our schools. We truly appreciate your time and efforts, and I would like to personally thank Mr. Ayers for giving us this opportunity for his continued commitment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Does it start when I start talking? Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Noah Jordan, and I just want to thank God for this opportunity to be here. But the Superintendent Student Advisory Council means a lot to me because of the opportunities it has opened. I've gained the chance to meet a lot of other students, and when I first came, I thought I was a leader myself, but being surrounded by others who strive for the same amount of greatness, it's pushed me. So personally, I've learned to grow. I just want to thank Ms. Melissa Erickson and Mr. Van Ayers. They just showed us the business side and the amount of thought that goes into protecting our school, I've gained I've developed a respect for those who work behind the scenes to, just make sure our schools run fluently. The leadership skills that we have learned and developed from the Superintendent Student Advisory Council is something that I've taken with me back to my school. They've been so gracious and, allowing my twin brother to join me in this whole experience. So I just want to say the environment is one of those things that are irreplaceable. I've been on, the councils at my school, but the Superintendent Student Advisory Council is just a lot of different students coming together, and they have different backgrounds, different experiences, but one common goal, and that's to improve our school systems. It's been truly beneficial, and I just want to thank everybody who's allowed me this opportunity.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board members and Mr. Ayers. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Margaret Oladokun, and I'm a proud senior at Jefferson High School. Go Dragons! This is my second year serving on the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, and I want to start by thanking Mr. Ayers, a Jefferson graduate himself, for giving students like me this incredible opportunity to have our voices heard. I know he's a busy man, and he still makes time to listen to what we have to say and takes everything into consideration while keeping up an upbeat energy, like me, with a warm smile on his face. Being a part of this council for 2 years has truly been an eye-opening experience. It has given me the chance to build so many meaningful connections with other students across the district and to see firsthand how much our voices matter in shaping the direction of our schools. I want to take this moment to thank Ms. Erickson for all of her efforts and how she continues to pour into us. Her constant support and encouragement has made such a big difference in helping us grow as leaders and communicators. This experience has also inspired me to bring what I've learned back to my own school. Last year, we started our own very PAC, Principal Advisory Council, and even though we're still new, we've already built such a strong foundation, so thank you guys. One that gives us a place to start and a vision for where we want to go. I also want to thank my principal, Dr. Kennedy. She came through midway last year, and she's just been supporting us in every step of the way, so I'm very grateful for her as well. Being on this council has shown me that true leadership doesn't only lie with the brightest students. It's about those who are willing to listen, collaborate, and speak up for others. It also opened my eyes to what adults in our district do behind the scenes and why certain decisions are made. Lastly, I want to thank my fellow council members. Month after month, we've come together to discuss real issues at our schools, and I'm so proud of the work that we've done together for the past 2 years. This opportunity has truly helped me grow as a leader, and I'm grateful to be a part of something that continues to amplify student voice.
Thank you. Good job. Good job. Sorry to cut you off there. Got to be fair, though. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jasmine Quinto. I am Senior Representative of Middleton High School, and I am honored to speak about what SSAC, the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, has meant to me and how it shaped my journey. When I first joined SSAC, I came in as a junior representative with one clear goal: to make sure every student's voice could be heard no matter where they came from or what background they had. Before that, I was a part of Grad Nation, a program focused on raising graduation rates. That experience taught me the power of teamwork and shared goals. But when I was chosen to represent George S. Middleton High School and SSAC, something inside me changed. My perspective widened. At first, I thought leadership was about speaking up and representing others. But through SSAC, I learned that real leadership is about listening. Listening to the struggles, ideas, and dreams of students across the district and finding ways to make their voices matter. I realized that people like me, who may not always come from privilege or recognition, can still make a lasting difference. Being part of SSAC showed me that change doesn't always start big. Sometimes it begins with one student, one idea, or one meeting where someone decides to speak up for what's right. I've learned that our backgrounds don't limit us. They shape us into leaders our schools and communities need. Today I stand here not just as a representative of Middleton, but as proof that when you care enough to listen, speak up, and take action, you can break stereotypes and open doors for others. SSAC has given me the confidence, the platform, and most importantly, the purpose to keep striving for a future where every student, regardless of the circumstances, feels seen, heard, and valued. Thank you.
Thank you. Can speakers 6 through 10 please line up? Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Maximus Vonenkin, and I'm the senior representative from Strawberry Crest High School. Being part of the Superintendent's Advisory Council has truly shaped me into a stronger student and a more confident leader. When I first joined, I saw it as just another opportunity to share my opinions, but it quickly became much more than that. I learned how to listen to others' perspectives, collaborate with students from different schools, and think critically about the real issues that affect our district. Through our discussions, I realized that leadership isn't just about speaking up, it's about understanding, empathy, and finding ways to make a positive difference for others. This experience has pushed me to become more involved in my own school community, to take initiative in clubs and service projects, and to inspire others to use their voices too. The Advisory Council has given me the confidence to advocate for change, the communication skills to work with others effectively, and the perspective to lead with purpose, both inside and outside of school. I'm truly grateful for how it has helped me grow, not just as a student, but as a person who wants to make a lasting impact. And I especially want to thank Mrs. Erickson, the Superintendent Ayers, my principal, Mr. Watson, and the high school regional superintendents for supporting us through this experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Love hearing student voices. You all did a great job. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Sue Batiglieri, and I'm a parent of 2 children at Dobie Elementary School at Waterset Community of Apollo Beach. I'm here representing parents advocating to expand Dobie Elementary into a K-8 school. We want to acknowledge our neighbors at Apollo Beach Elementary, whose K-8 expansion you approved in 2024. We're asking for the same opportunity because our community's growth and need are just as great. Waterset still has 1,500 new homes to build, and several multi-family developments along Big Bend Road are already underway, adding well over 1,000 new units within a few miles of Dobie. This growth will significantly impact middle school capacity. We've toured Eisenhower Middle School and appreciate the improvements underway and the leadership's dedication. But even with those positive changes, families continue to look elsewhere for middle school options. Expanding Dobie into a K-8 offers an immediate, cost-effective solution that uses existing district property and infrastructure, avoiding costly new construction. It provides stability for families, supports Eisenhower by easing enrollment pressure, and helps the district retain and attract students who have left for charter, magnet, or homeschooling. Every student who leaves takes valuable per-pupil funding with them. By expanding Dobie, we can bring those families and that funding back to our district. Our initiative has more than 1,100 petitions, signatures, and strong community support. Expanding Dobie isn't just about growth, it's a smart financial investment that strengthens public education in South Shore for years to come. Thank you for your time and your dedication to our students and families.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Laura, and I live in Apollo Beach. I'm a mom of 2 school-age boys. My oldest is 10 and in 5th grade, and my youngest just started kindergarten this year. For the past 3 years, my soon-to-be middle schooler has applied to York Magnet School 3 rounds each year and has not been accepted. We were applying to York because we wanted to ensure our oldest son could attend a good middle school, one that would challenge him and keep him excited about learning. Each time, we've held our breath and hoped for a chance, but like so many families in our area, we've realized that hope and luck should not determine a child's education. After running out of options, I had to pull them out of public school and place them in private school, something I never planned to do and frankly shouldn't have to. If Dobie had a K-8 option, we wouldn't be in this situation at all. Families like mine wouldn't have to scramble, apply through lotteries, or pay private tuition just to ensure their children have access to a quality middle school. Meanwhile, my 5-year-old is now attending York, which means my boys are in 2 different schools with 2 different start and end times and 2 separate commutes every single day. It's stressful, time-consuming, and simply not sustainable long-term, especially for families with multiple children. We love our neighborhood, we love Dobie, and we want to stay a part of our public school system. But right now, when it comes to middle school, families in Apollo Beach are left with limited options. Our zone school, Eisenhower Middle, has made real efforts to improve. But despite those efforts, it's simply not enough to meet the needs and expectations of our growing community. As a result, we're seeing more families turn to private schools, charter schools, or homeschooling, not because they want to leave public education, but because they feel they have no other choice. Expanding Dobie to a K-8 would give families like mine the chance to stay in our community, keep siblings together, and build on the strong foundation Dobie has created. Our children deserve stability, quality, and a sense of belonging without parents having to gamble with lotteries or turn to other options such as private schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Belcher, and I'm a proud member of Walton Academy. I will be reading a letter on behalf of Bishop Julia McMillan. Good evening, members of the board. Her name is Bishop Julia McMillan, and she writes before you not only as a faith leader in this community, but as an advocate for the Walton Academy, a charter school that for more than 20 years has been more than just a place of education. It has been a place of transformation. Founded and faithfully led by Sam and Tanika Walton, members of her congregation, the Walton Academy has poured heart, hope, and opportunity into the lives of children who might not otherwise have been forgotten. This school has been a refuge for the underprivileged, a platform for the performing arts, and a pathway to purpose for countless students and families. Today, I appeal to this board with sincerity and urgency. Please do not close this school. The issue before us is not one of moral failure or educational neglect or financial irresponsibility. It is a facility issue. And while we can prepare a building, we cannot repair the damage that will come from shutting down this school that has given life, structure, and inspiration to our entire community. We understand the importance of compliance and safety. We do not minimize the standards that must be upheld. What we are asking for is time, 90 days to complete any necessary repairs and bring the facility into full compliance. The leadership, faculty, parents, and community partners stand ready to work diligently both day and night to make sure that all the necessary requirements are met. Let us fix the building, and in doing so, preserve the light that this academy has been for 2 decades. We can rebuild walls, but we can't rebuild trust once it's broken. We can replace windows, but we can't not replace what this school means to the children who have walked these halls. I humbly ask that you consider mercy over mandate, hope over hate, and collaboration over closure. On behalf of the Walton Academy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Can I please have speakers 11 through 15? Wait, we're 11 through 15. That's right. 11 through 15 line up, please. And I appreciate all the enthusiasm, but it's hard for me to call up speakers when there's a lot of applause. So please hold your applause so that I can navigate this agenda. Thank you. Thank you for being patient. You may begin.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, board. My name is Tracy Rothamel, and I'm a 3rd grade ELA teacher at Walton Academy. I moved from New York to Tampa 16 years ago and raised 2 daughters here, one at Robinson IB and one at UF. I began working at Walton Academy 13 years ago, and it has been my greatest pleasure. I have grown into a confident, accomplished teacher thanks to the guidance and leadership of my principal, Ms. Tanika Walton. Our school provides more than just an education, but a place where our children feel safe, happy, secure, and loved. They depend on our security and our stability. We are a family within the confines of a great learning environment. I implore you, please do not terminate our charter. Our families deserve better than this tremendous loss. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Janice Boyd, and I want to thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm here because Walton Academy plays an essential role in the lives of its students and deserves to remain open. The school's not just about classrooms and hallways. It's a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment where children are not only educated but truly cared for. For many families, Walton is a place where students feel seen, protected, and valued. The sense of safety allows students to learn, grow, and express themselves without fear, something every child deserves. One of the things that makes Walton Academy special is its commitment to performing arts. These programs aren't just extracurricular, they're essential to helping students build confidence, creativity, and academic skills. The arts give students a positive outlook for their energy and emotions, helping them develop strong character and resilience. But what makes Walton truly stand out is the way teachers and staff know their students personally. It's a small, close-knit community where children don't fall through the cracks. They are supported emotionally, academically, and socially in a secure environment where parents can trust their kids are safe. Closing Walton Academy wouldn't just take away a school, it would take away a safe haven for children who thrive in this kind of environment, a place where they feel they belong, a place that builds not just scholars but confident, compassionate young people. I urge the board to consider the impact beyond the budget and the facilities and keeping this open. One last thing I wanted to say is this keeping it open supports Governor Ron DeSantis' views of strong support for parental choice in education, which these parents choose Walton, and educational freedom, where Florida ranked #1 in educational choice by giving parents rights and transparency. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Juan Hernandez, and I'm here to speak on behalf of a concerned parent who wasn't able to make it tonight. But Dobie has been the heart of education of many young students in our area. As the community grows, Dobie has adapted and adding VPK programs and maintaining academic success, even in larger classrooms. Dobie leads with a student-first mentality, teachers and staff who truly nurture, support, and encourage every child. We saw this firsthand when my child attended 4th and 5th grade there. After my husband's military retirement brought us back to the area, Dobie provided my child a sense of safety, caring, and confidence. Teacher communication was excellent, and they worked hard, hand in hand with parents to promote student success. But when it was time to move to middle school, uncertainty set in. Uncertainty about maintaining that same level of academic excellence, support, and the safe, nurturing environment our child had at Dobie. My child now attends Eisenhower. While I know improvements are being made, I do not feel she is succeeding as she did before. With overcrowded classrooms, frequent disruptions, and an increasingly volatile environment, our middle school choices have been discouraging. Where my child once thrived, she now skates by. Though my child is originally excited to attend a different school as she advanced grades, she has expressed fear of her environment, having felt discomfort in the classroom, having expressed difficulty being able to learn due to disruptiveness, and having been verbally and physically assaulted. She has already said that she would be happy to go elsewhere, and the school year has only just begun. That was never the case at Dobie. If it worked for our family, we would homeschool or choose an online option, but more importantly, we would return to Dobie immediately if given that choice. Relying on a lottery or private school tuition shouldn't determine whether a child can access a safe, high-quality education. We don't want, but need this expansion. It will provide a caring, secure environment where students can continue to grow academically and emotionally without overcrowding. Expanding Dobie K-8 will allow our children to stay in the environment that supports them best, one that builds confident, capable, and compassionate citizens.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Ashley Anderson, and I'm here today, a proud parent and passionate advocate for Walton Academy Performing Arts School. Walton Academy is more than just a school to my daughter and our family. It's a second home. It's a place where she feels safe, supported, and inspired every single day. The environment here is not only academically enriching, but emotionally nurturing. Teachers know their students by name, celebrate their individuality, and foster a culture of kindness, creativity, and belonging in a world that often feels uncertain. Walton Academy has been a constant source of joy and growth. It's where my daughter discovered her voice literally and figuratively through the performing arts. It's where she learned to collaborate, to lead, and to believe in herself. Closing the school would not just disrupt routines, it would dismantle a community built on love, learning, and possibility. I urge you to reconsider. Let's preserve a place that uplifts children, empowers family, and reflects the very best of what public education can be. Thank you for your time and for listening to the voices of those who believe in Walton Academy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Richard Atkins. I'm a proud Hillsborough County resident, a longtime community volunteer, and currently a crossing guard at Reddick Elementary. Every morning I help our kids get to school safely, and every day I see firsthand the heart and soul our public schools pour into these children. I'm here today because I am deeply concerned about the state board's new Schools of Hope rule. This rule isn't about hope, it's about hostile takeover. It allows private charter operations to move into our public schools, even successful ones, without local input, and then without transparency and without accountability. This rule redefines underused in a way that makes no sense. A single empty desk could label a thriving school to excess, opening the door for outside operators to move in. That's not just bad math, it's bad policy. It ignores the real needs for our students, especially those in specialized programs who require smaller class sizes and unique spaces. And let's be clear, when charter operators get free access to our buildings and services, it's our kids who pay the price. That's the money taken away from classrooms, teachers, and virtual programs like art, music, and mental health support. Schools of Hope were meant to lift up struggling communities, not strip resources from the ones that are working. This rule hijacks that intent and silences the voices of the very people who build these schools, which is us. I urge this board to stand up, speak out, and demand that this rule be revised. Our schools belong to our communities, not Tallahassee. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Can I call up speakers 16 through 20, please? Next speaker.
How you doing, board? I wanted to come basically to acknowledge and appreciate the superintendent, chief of schools, as well as Chris Farkas for taking it serious when we deal with bus fights. Also to our board member, Karen Perez, that has been on the forefront of dealing with the fights at the school, also dealing with the school buses and the fights. Thank you also, board chair, for acknowledging it, that was a problem. And so I want to appreciate that. I also want to bring to a point, I see board member Leon Gray has stepped out, that was very disturbing. I remember coming to this board last year sometime with my nephew that brought it to our attention that he was in class and the teacher called him the N-word right in class. Brought that up, made it clear to the board that happened, and no words, no comments from the board. My ask was that the superintendent at that time, it wasn't a year ago, I want to say it's probably earlier than that because it was Allison Davis was superintendent. And what I asked was simply that we send out a letter to all staff and just make it clear that those kind of languages, that language cannot be used with our students in our school. Nothing was done. No comments was made from the board. But last board meeting, I heard board member Stacy Hahn. I heard board member Leon Gray talk about anti-Semitic and how concerning and serious it was. While that is serious, but I want to also say it's serious to have a teacher look at a student and call them an N-word. That's also just as serious. And so I would like to say if we're going to talk about one thing, we should be fair across the board and make sure it's a statement, period, that no one should be using that kind of language or any racial slurs altogether. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello,
My name is Betsy Braden. I have 2 children that graduated from Plant High School. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you for the LGBTQ history proclamation. I'm here to speak about the hostile takeover of our public schools by Schools of Hope and what we can do to mitigate the damage, but we need your help. I experienced a hostile takeover January 6, 2023, when the governor decided New College was too woke. DeSantis replaced the Board of Trustees, then the new trustees fired the school president and appointed DeSantis' friend Richard Corcoran as the new president while quadrupling the president's salary. 1/3 of the faculty left, 60 students relocated. My daughter ended up leaving the state for the Northeast. It's been over 2 years in this hostile takeover. The national rankings and graduation rates have dropped. The school spends an astronomical $134,000 per student compared to $10,000 at other universities. The costs are unattainable. Many believe the school will have to close. Now the Schools of Hope are advancing a hostile takeover on our public schools. The original purpose of Schools of Hope was to save failing public schools. The Education Commission is circumventing the legislature and school boards and letting these charter schools take over our thriving public schools. The public schools are forced to pay the charter school expenses, including rent and busing. This is a Trojan horse meant to destroy public schools and give taxpayer money to the Education Commission's charter school friends. Unfortunately, the school board cannot stop this hostile takeover, but we can demand changes. My request for you is to hold a town hall about this threat. The public needs to know what's happening to their schools. So please speak to the legislators and try to persuade them to change charter school protocol about which schools they can take over. I need people here in the audience to call their legislators and ask them to stop this hostile takeover. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, and superintendent. My name is Tanika Walton, and I have the honor of serving as the principal and co-founder of Walton Academy for the Performing Arts. For over 22 years, Walton Academy has served this community with excellence, developing the mind, body, and soul of every child through arts and technology. I stand before you tonight not in defense, but in clarification and truth. The concerns outlined by the district and state have been fully addressed, corrected, and documented. There are no ongoing safety and health issues at Walton Academy. The concerns first raised during the state auditor's visit in the spring related to documentation of after-action reviews, safe area concerns, threat management meetings. Those items have been corrected and now are properly maintained and filed in this book here. Regarding Alyssa's alert system, we have a Raptor. I want to clarify that it functioned properly throughout last school year. Over the summer, they had system upgrades. This is a third-party platform, which caused a temporary issue, which the 911 center did not receive notifications on August 20th, our very first lockdown drill. That matter was fully remedied on September 5th, and since then we have conducted successful active assailant drills on September 11th, 25th, and October 10th. In addition, all members of our threat assessment team, both new and returning, have completed training and refresher courses this school year. Every drill, meeting, and corrective action has been documented in this particular binder, which reviewed by Major O'Day this past Friday, the first time this school year that such a review was requested. I must emphasize in 22...
Thank you. Thank you, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent. On behalf of one of our faith leaders here in Hillsborough County, Superintendent Van Ayers and school board members, good afternoon. This letter is from Pastor Jarvis Green, the youth pastor of New Dawn Restoration Center, a leader in the community. He is writing this letter in full support of Walton Academy for the Performing Arts. Walton Academy is and has been a pillar of the educational community and should remain open. I have worked closely with the school's teachers, faculty, and staff and have been uplifted and blessed every time. I have been in their presence, although it may be the desire of some to close the doors of this great educational institution. That would not be the best solution due to the vast impact this school has made and is making and will continue to make in this community. I am writing to you as a concerned religious leader in the community and a past parent whose daughter attended this great institution and now is excelling as a student in a collegiate program. My daughter is excelling due to her education from charter institutions, both elementary and middle. I respectfully urge you not to move forward with the decision to close Walton Academy for the Performing Arts. I am pleading that the decision to have this school remain open is the conclusion so students may continue to be educated for years to come. Please consider the far-fetching impact of this decision. The closure of Walton Academy will not only affect students' academic process, but would also weaken the spirit of educational innovation and benefits to our youth. Humbly submitted, Pastor Jarvis M. Green.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
What a perfect storm. I'm John Green. This is from your Article 1, from your agreement with the NAACP. In conjunction with the NAACP commitment, Hillsborough County Schools will support implementation of the project in the following ways. Access to the facility resources will be made available and may include use of paper products, soap, materials, supplies, phones, etc., etc., etc. Then in your bylaws, 9700 relationship with special interest groups, school facilities or equipment may not be used as a means of producing or disseminating to the community any political or advertisement, whatever. But you giving this facility, you giving the NAACP your facility, use of their equipment, but yet you're ready to close a whole school that's doing something productive? Is this the Article 8 where the NAACP can't show up to fight for the community? They don't have a voice? This is what y'all do. It's a double standard. You find ways to maintain, to keep them in this school, but yet you're ready to close down a whole school who's really productive in the black community. Let's be specific about that, right? So now that the community know what y'all is doing for the NAACP, and you make excuses to keep them in there. One black voice sits on this board, has not said anything about moving the NAACP, but ready to vote to close the school down.
Thank you. Please keep your clapping to a minimum, please. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, members of the Hillsborough County School Board, parents, and community leaders. My name is Fred Tomlin, Jr. I'm a parent, a business owner, and longtime resident and a citizen of Hillsborough County. I stand before you today to urge you to please do not close Walton Academy for the Performing Arts. For over 20 years, Walton Academy has lived out a simple but powerful vision, changing lives through the world of education. This is not just another school, it's a family built on the values of excellence, integrity, service, caring, and family. Founded by Samuel and Tanika Walton, two lifelong educators, performers, and community builders, this academy was born from love. Purpose, and the desire to give children opportunities that extend far beyond the classroom. Through dance, music, and technology, students at the Walton Academy don't just learn facts, they discover who they are. They learn confidence, discipline, teamwork, and creativity. When you walk into Walton Academy, you feel it immediately. The energy, the joy, the sense of belonging. This is a place where children thrive in mind, body, and soul. It's where academic excellence meets the performing arts and where every child is seen and valued. Closing this school would not just end a program, it would end a legacy that has inspired and uplifted thousands of young lives since 2004. The Waltons and their dedicated staff have poured everything into serving our community. Let's not allow that legacy and that heart to be erased. I ask the school board to work with us, not against us. Let's find solutions, not closure. Let's keep the Walton Academy open for the students, for the families, and for the future of education that nurtures both the mind and the soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have speakers 22 to 26 line up, please? 22 to 26. Next speaker.
My name is Jamar. I am in the 3rd grade. I used to attend Walton Academy for 1st and 2nd grade, and I am a scout there. If you shut down WAPA, we will not have anywhere to do scouts, and brown children will not have that many safe places to go. Please keep WAPA open.
In reclaiming his time, I'll also, it got restart. I'll start new. Okay, I'm going to finish Ms. Tanika's comments. I'm Jeanette Horsmith. I'm JJ's parent, but I want to just continue what she was saying. She wanted to emphasize that in 22 years of existence, Walton Academy has never experienced anything like this. They've consistently passed every fire marshal inspection, food service review, health inspection, and Department of Children and Families review with favorable results. They've also been fortunate enough to receive the support that's helped them replace flooring damaged by last year's hurricane, demolish an uninhabitable building on their property, and repair exterior gate. They've also received an extension from the City of Tampa to continue making steady progress with these facility improvements. Walton Academy is safe, stable, and strong. Their parents, alumni, and community stand united behind them. They are responsible, transparent, and fully compliant. They respectfully ask that you see the facts in the heart of this school and allow Walton Academy to continue serving children. Now, I came here to stand before you as a parent. I came to stand before you because clearly Walton Academy is more than just a school. It's a safe space. If the district chooses to close or restructure Walton, it won't just change a campus. It will displace students, it will remove jobs, and it will impact a long-standing legacy. This isn't a matter of safety and security. If there are funding challenges, let's talk about that. But financial or logistical issues should never justify terminating a school that's making a difference in real children's lives. Not only is my son a scout, but I'm one of the scout leaders. And so I implore you to look at what's working there. And what struck me the most is that my son said, "Mommy, do you think they'll close Cornerstone down next?" Our children are watching, they're listening, and they're learning how decisions are being made. Please make the right decision.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Michael Ann DeMaio, and I'm a citizen of Hillsborough County and a member of Magnified Voices. I'm here to speak about Florida State Board's new Schools of Hope ruling 6A-1.099827, which allows, quote, private operators to seize public school space, even in successful schools, with no accountability, no transparency, and no local say, end quote. This takes away the power of the local citizens and Hillsborough County School Board. It gives charter schools the power to take over public school space that they deem isn't being used, not for a determined amount of time, but as long as they want. That's like having someone move into your spare bedroom because no one sleeps there, rent-free, for as long as they want. Actually, we, the taxpayers, are paying them on top of it. The charter schools get extra money for each student, money which they don't have to account for. The reason I am speaking to you this evening is to ask, how can we, as citizens of Hillsborough County, help you, the Hillsborough County School Board, change this ruling? We want the same thing for our students as you do, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting up there on the board. We all want them to get the best possible education and grow up to be productive citizens. As taxpayers, we should have a say how to accomplish this. So please, can we help you? Can we send you to Tallahassee to speak for our children? Or maybe we should go with you. Anyway, my point is sometimes something needs to be done to change this new Schools of Hope ruling. I thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Horstman. I want to thank and commend the school board for recognizing LGBTQ+ History Month. It is especially significant in this current era of return to demonizing and attempting to erase in every way possible the LGBTQ community. Recognizing the history of any group of people that have been marginalized or ostracized only helps to stop that from happening. Now and in the future, recognizing LGBTQ+ History Month to me is the same as recognizing Black history, women's history, and American history in general. It's the only way we learn from our past mistakes and truly become a peaceful, loving society. I was 16 years old and a sophomore in high school in Fort Lauderdale when the Stonewall riots occurred. I have been fortunate enough to live through the modern LGBTQ movement and benefited from it greatly, participating in it as well. Although I am not one of the ones that will be recognized in history, I believe that this history has helped me to be an openly gay man and live a life that is productive in the community. I can speak openly about my husband, my late husband, my boyfriends, my activities without fear and without judgment. I say this all because of the history and struggles of those around us is key to having a truly functioning community. Thank you again for this recognition, and thank you for the hard work you're doing to see that censorship does not completely erase the history of all of the marginalized members of our society.
Thank you. Can I also call up speakers 27 to 31, please? Next speaker.
My name is Lauren Foley. You have a billion reasons to recognize me. As a former director of the Princeton Review for Northern Florida, I had a strong knowledge of standardized testing, which was reflected throughout my student outcomes for 17 years I worked for Hillsborough County Public Schools. Today, I want to address a concerning shift in Florida's education policy. Florida's Schools of Hope was originally created to support students in persistently low-performing schools, providing targeted assistance to help them succeed. It was about ensuring equal opportunities and raising educational standards for vulnerable students. However, the recently enacted Rule 6A, and I won't go through the rest, significantly alters this intention. Rather than focusing solely on struggling schools, it now allows private operators to claim excess space in any public school regardless of its performance, effectively turning the program into a statewide charter expansion tool. What does this mean for our communities? It means that high-performing schools can be converted into charter facilities without local input, transparency, or accountability. This threatens our ability to make community-driven decisions about our local schools and undermines the integrity of our public education system. Education should be about empowering local communities, fostering accountability, and privatizing student success. We must stand against policies that prioritize private interest over the needs and voices of our families and educators. Let's advocate for policies that truly support all students and strengthens our public schools, not weakens them.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Julie Gebhards, and I just have a few things today. Most of our librarians have been trained by the American Library Association, And consequently, most of our processes around our school libraries are informed and come straight from the American Library Association, which actually used to have the little emblem on our processes on the district website, but it was removed kind of randomly, I think, when a lot of the American Library Association practices were exposed, but none of the processes actually changed. So the American Library Association is the largest professional organization of library workers, and they wield a tremendous amount of power over and a lot of influence over our school libraries and all across America. They actually are a political organization, I would say, because they promote Marxism and division. And we can see that as the former president says this: "I can't believe a Marxist lesbian who believes that collective power is possible to build and can be wielded for a better world is the president-elect of the ALA." This is a political statement she made. She was their president. Another thing that they advocate is for 0 age restrictions for content. They have a library bill of rights right on their website. They're not even hiding it. And this is what it says: "A person's right to use a library should not be denied or abridged because of age." So, and I actually have examples of this happening that people have told me about. Terrible. Here is what Deborah Caldwell Stone said in a training from the American Library Association. "Ultimately, we found that the thing that needs to happen most before bills are introduced is sustained messaging that reframes this issue, that takes it away from the issue that these are inappropriate or sexually inappropriate for minors, and promote them as diverse materials and programming, and that are about fairness, inclusion, and the protection of everybody's right to see themselves and their families reflected in books." She acknowledges that they're sexually inappropriate for minors, but she wants to take away that messaging and make it seem like these are diverse books. That's a problem. We have a systemic problem. Don't let this be done under your watch in the sanctioned environment of a school library and on taxpayer dollars.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Erica Hicks, and I am the parent of a second grade student at Walden Academy and president of the PTO. My daughter came to WAPA Academy as a result of teacher neglect from another Hillsborough County public school. At WAPA, she has been educated, nurtured, and given the opportunity to truly express herself. When she left her last school, she was underprepared and riddled with anxiety. She has now discovered her voice and her passion for dance. It has been the best experience for her and for so many current and past students. The teachers and administrators care about more than the students' education. They care about their well-being. Terminating WAPA's charter will negatively impact so many in the community, but especially our students. For this reason, I ask that you do not close Walden Academy. Doing so is not in the best interest of our children. Walden Academy is a second home for so many, and a decision to close it will deeply affect us all. If you truly care about the education of all students and the livelihood of educators in Hillsborough County, you will allow Walden Academy to remain open. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica Green. I am the chair of Walton Academy for the Performing Arts. Section 1002.338C Florida statutes provides that a charter school may be terminated immediately if the sponsor demonstrates that an immediate and serious danger to the health, safety, or welfare of the charter school students exists, that the immediate and serious danger is likely to continue, and that an immediate termination of the charter is necessary. There is no immediate danger, as the items identified have already been completely resolved and are therefore unlikely to continue. Further, the items identified were minor in nature. The school's front gate, where cars enter from the road into our parking lot, was not locked. We have now changed our protocols so that this will no longer be the case. At all times, our buildings and classrooms were locked in accordance with the law, ensuring the safety of our students and staff. Safe spaces were not sufficiently identified in 2 classrooms. We work collaboratively with the safety specialists and have ensured that safe spaces are very clearly identified. The district letter also stated that safe spaces were not identified in other rooms that are currently used for storage and not used for instructional purposes. You are voting to close our school based on an allegation that we do not have proper signage in rooms used for storage, which is contrary to Florida law. Finally, there was criticism that our school was not able to connect to the 911 system. These are the only 3 items listed in district's notice of termination, and all 3 items were addressed by the school appropriately and without delay. Again, there are several supporters here that are supporting the Walton Academy for the Performing Arts, so I just ask that you would take that into consideration as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
There's a lot of people here that are speaking on and in support of Walton Academy. My name is Ross Harrop, and I'm one of those people. I've served on the Walton Academy School Board for the past decade. I've been in these chambers before as we have worked with the charter school office and with the school board to ensure that any time that there were issues, that we could work collaboratively. Something perplexes me. Why is that not going on now? I came prepared to make a number of quotes about statutes, and they've done a much better job than I can do. I was reading Preparing Students for Life. Walton Academy is not about leaving a legacy. It's about living a legacy. And they do that each and every day. They're not about being like a family. They are a family. We are a family. I'm proud to be a part of that family. And I'm asking you to give due diligence and follow the procedures that you folks have in place, that the state has in place. That's all we need. I've been part of that board where there have been changes that needed to be made. We met with you folks, and we took action. Now we need you to take action.
Can I please call up speakers 32 to 36? Next speaker, please.
Alan Brewster, board member, superintendent. I want to say this. I didn't get this from a movie and no book. At the age of 14, I was thrown to the streets of Detroit. From 14 to 17 years old, I was homeless. And death was all around me. And then one day, death came knocking at my door. And I looked death in the eye. And this perpetrator put a gun in my head. And I said, do it. The perpetrator took the gun from my head and shot the bullet in the ground. And I would say this, God had a greater purpose for me. And it's right here. I've been advocating for change in Hillsborough County for 8 years at various schools. The leadership need to hold the principals, the teachers, the staff, the district people to a higher level. Students should get a higher level of education with no negativity. Higher. This school district has the potential to be 10 times better than what it is. But for some reason, they don't want to do it. The staff, the teachers push back from change. Change is inevitable. You can't stop change. It's up to the superintendent and the people up under him to hold these people to a higher standard. And teaching education. Why are you in the education if you're not going to do it at a high level? These kids, the parents want their kids to learn at a higher level.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Superintendent, members of the board. Truly disappointed to again see on your agenda that you do a recognition for the LGBTQ History Month. I'm not opposed to that. I find that that's not quite true, but I find that it's interesting that you did a month in June and you've done a month somewhere else in the year for a similar topic. However, you don't do resolutions anymore, which does not give people the opportunity for comment, nor does it hold each and every one of you accountable for your vote at the time when you do a resolution. So it continues to be business as usual, indoctrination instead of true education. You swore to uphold the Constitution, both the U.S. and the Florida. You do not. Most of you do not. You swore to follow the laws of the state of Florida. Most of you do not. To educate our children in Hillsborough County, not indoctrinate them. You choose not to. And you continue to fuel the divide between students by focusing on a few rather than on values for them as a whole. Obviously, you can't focus or recognize all individually. So don't recognize just a few. Focus on fathers, mothers, families, values, and opportunities across the board that benefit all children. Stop the man-made divide and discrimination of select groups. Please speak truth about all things that you should be speaking truth about anyway. To close, I find it interesting that there was no recognition today of a National Remembrance Day for Charlie Kirk, who did and does speak truth and was not afraid to be different.
Please hold your comments while people have their few minutes. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Ozzie Rubin. I am, of course, here on behalf of Walton Performing and Arts School. I was there when it first was founded, so I'm only going to speak on the intimacy of it. I'm already quite sure y'all have the sections and all that stuff down pat. I just wanted to put a face to the actual school. I have my daughter here with me that attended Walton Performing and Arts, as well as 3 other kids. Now my grandkids attend Walton Performing and Arts. One of the things that I absolutely love about Walton Performing and Arts Center, again, is the intimacy. To be able to drop my children off with the same faculty, majority of the same faculty that I did when my children were adults. I have Ms. Green still, when I give them a call in the morning, know my name, know me by name. I have Ms. Tanika and her husband, still Mr. Randolph, Ms. Warner. All these different teachers are still there at the facility that was there when my daughter and now my grandkids there. I know just a little bit more about the school is that we just finished off World Finest chocolate, so the kids were looking forward to their glow party. We have a skating party in about 2 weeks for the kids, a family night at the skating ring, I think on the 20th. Ms. Green gonna kill me. And then we also have a festival coming up, a fall festival for the kids. So how do we explain to the kids that we can no longer provide that the school is now closing? So I did hear somebody say that it was 90 days available or something like that you can vote on that'll give us time to get the school in order. And I just want to plead with you to lean more towards not closing, but giving us more of an opportunity or chance to get whatever, you guys need available, to be fixed and rectified. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Janasia. I am an alumni of Walton Academy. I am one of the few students that started out with that school. And I say that because I noticed when we talk, it was a shift in energy compared to different topics. That school made me who I am. I am an honors student. I'm on my way to law school, thanks to Miss Tanika. She is also a USF alum, her husband, Mr. Sam, my music teacher, Mr. Randall Walton, that's in the back, Miss Oni, my sister's first grade teacher. I can tell you every teacher that I had from 1st to 5th grade with remembrance of how they helped me become who I am. My daughter, she currently attends that school. She struggled with reading and math when she came. A teacher, Miss Holmes, she stayed with my daughter from 5 to 6:30 p.m. to make sure that when she made it to 3rd grade, she didn't have to retain 2nd grade, because 2nd grade isn't a retaining grade, but 3rd is. We have those teachers there in that place that makes education worthwhile. There aren't many schools that's going to care. We have small class sizes, intimate class sizes that can focus on every single need that we need. And I'm here today to ask that y'all do not close the school. I am living proof that that school works, regardless of how it may look. That heart and that soul is there. And I ask that each and every one of you really take your time and understand what you are doing if you close that school down. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Alex Quinto, and I serve as the Regional Manager for Tampa Bay for Equality Florida's Safe and Healthy Schools program. I want to begin by thanking this board for recognizing LGBTQ History Month, especially at a time when fear and confusion continue to surround efforts in education. And your recognition sends a clear and powerful message that every student in Hillsborough County deserves to see themselves reflected, respected, and celebrated in their schools. LGBTQ History Month is more about honoring the past. It reminds us that visibility saves lives. As our state continues to create uncertainty and local leaders like yourselves are being asked to walk an increasingly difficult line, Hillsborough took the opportunity to rise above politics and lead with integrity, empathy, and a steadfast commitment to every child's safety and success. Recognition like this truly matters. As a former school counselor for the state of Florida, I love to pull from data. A lot of us should really love data. And data from the Trevor Project and GLSEN shows that LGBTQ students who feel affirmed at school are significantly less likely to experience bullying or suicidal thoughts. Visibility is not symbolic, it is life-saving. Hillsborough has long been a model of leadership in the state, and your recognition of LGBTQ History Month continues that tradition. It shows that courage still exists in our classrooms and that compassion still lives in our communities and on this board. Now more than ever, we need to show up for those who are showing up for us. So I thank you for showing up for all students, families, and educators, and for continuing to make Hillsborough County a place where every child can learn with dignity, pride, and be their authentic selves. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Margaret Oni, and I'm speaking tonight as both a teacher and a proud parent of a 5th grader at Walton Academy. For over 20 years, our school has stood as more than just a building. It's been a cornerstone of this community, especially for our Black and brown families. Generations of children have walked through our doors and found teachers who look like them, believe in them, and push them to achieve more than they ever thought possible. As a teacher, I've seen firsthand how deeply our staff is invested in every single student. We know our families, we build relationships that last, and we meet students where they are. That kind of impact is immeasurable. That impact is evident looking around the room at the families we have here today to support us. As a mother, I can tell you that my child feels safe, seen, and supported here. Like any other parent, I would never send my child to a school I thought was unsafe. WAPA is a safe school. We have diligently made the corrections based on the recommendation of the district and state, and we deserve to stay open. Closing this school would disrupt the lives of the students, families, and the dedicated teachers and staff that invested their hearts, time, and hope into this place. This is a place where children learn who they are and who they can become. Closing our school would not just be a decision on paper. It will be a loss for every family, every child, and every teacher who has poured into this school. Please allow us to continue this important work. Please keep Walton Academy open. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening.
I'm Cindy Richards with Magnified Voices and a Hillsborough County Public School parent. I only have one experience with a charter school, and I'd like to share it with you tonight. That one experience was a dumpster fire as soon as their fancy sales pitch was over. With dreams of innovative learning, partnerships with NASA, science-based curriculum, give us your child and we'll open their world. We fell for it. None of that was delivered. The day they welcomed our children, they didn't have phones, internet, office furniture, or outdoor space for our elementary children to play in. The building was inaccessible to parents, and our child was locked inside, unprotected, neglected, and abused by both staff and students. It was absolute chaos, and we had no idea what was going on. After we finally realized what was happening, we shifted our entire lives and jobs to protect our child. Weeks after we withdrew her, they called me, asked me why my child was absent that day. They hadn't missed her for weeks. 6 months after that, this same school was sporting a huge banner bragging that they were an A-rated school. That is why oversight is essential. What I've learned from this experience is that charter schools don't have any accountability. I didn't know that before as an average parent. I'm not saying all charter schools are like Navigator. Some charter schools are needed and serve communities well, as is obvious today. I'm just saying we need to ensure local control and accountability equally in every school that receives a penny of our hard-earned tax dollars. Please hear me when I say, in general, we cannot capitulate to the state or federal overreach. Stop handing out blank checks to corporations and blindly trusting they have our best interests at heart. They don't. Please push back on this and protect our children and our community.
Thank you. Can I have speakers 37 to 42 line up, please? Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Gianni Hunt, and I'm the parent of 3 students in Hillsborough County. I'm here tonight to speak from personal experience about the realities families face when navigating school choice and some important considerations when discussing expanding charter schools, school choice to include schools of hope, especially when it comes to students with IEPs, 504 plans, and gifted learners. While trying to support our children in the public school setting, my family was sold on the idea that in order to help our children, we just needed to find the best charter school or invest a voucher into a private school. I'm here today advocating for investing in public schools. And I'm doing this because these options were not good for our family. And the reality is that it doesn't work for many families in Hillsborough County. In most cases, these options cannot accommodate students with disabilities nor support the unique needs of some of the gifted learners. These models often lack the resources, flexibility, and accountability that public schools are expected to provide. In my personal experience navigating school choice and actually sitting with low-income families in Hillsborough County, I have learned that when we talk about school choice, we also have to talk about access and equity. Walton Academy seems to be working for its community, and I commend them for that. And charter schools might be great for some families, but for many, it's not a choice, it's a privilege. Not every parent can design their day around drop-off or pickup times without compromising financial stability. Not every family has the means to support transportation without public school buses. Diverting any resources from public schools undermines the foundation of our public education system. This directly impacts low-income households, marginalized communities, and students with disabilities. I urge this board to consider these perspectives when evaluating the Schools of Hope model. I urge you to take this message forward and speak on behalf of 50,000 Hillsborough County students who are living in poverty and 30 who are disabled learners.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Lily, and I'm a parent of a child in Hillsborough County Public Schools. First, I want to thank you for recognizing LGBTQ+ History Month. The absence of a Pride Month proclamation in June was noticed, and today's recognition matters because it shows the board listens and responds to parent and community feedback. While history is essential to education, so are current events, and a Pride Month proclamation next June would be especially meaningful given the devastating cancellation of our local Pride celebrations. I also want to address the recently unfollowed school board book review process, a process put in place to ensure transparency and due process. When those processes aren't followed, it makes me wonder what other safeguards meant to protect student rights might be disregarded next. It sounds like there's another instance of that question's being asked here today as well. Which brings me to what I'm most worried about. You see, my child depends on special education services to succeed at school. He's incredibly bright. He recently tested 2 grade levels above in math. However, he would not thrive in a traditional classroom. He succeeds because of the small classroom size, the one-on-one supports, the services, and the trained staff provided through his special education class. That's why I'm terrified by the federal education cuts and reductions in oversight. It's a very real fear that programs like his would be dissolved. Lately, when I picture his future, I see 2 paths. On one, he continues to receive the support he needs. He builds independence, life skills, social connections. He's prepared for adulthood and becomes a bright, contributing member of the community. On the other, those supports disappear. The burden shifts to families like mine, filling that gap alone. He's not with peers or included. He's left out, starting with school, and his independence is more uncertain. I'm asking that this board fight vigorously against state and federal actions that threaten children's rights. That's both your job legally and morally, and that's not by charters or private or outsourcing to schools of hope either. Please protect local oversight no matter what. All of these issues are connected. When external pressures threaten students' rights to learn, to belong, to be supported, to a free public education, this board's duty is to protect them. You were elected to serve students, not the state.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Elena Fowler. As a first-year teacher last year at Walton Academy, this year I was recently terminated the start of this school year, so today I'm here to state my truth. I apologize to the kids who may have to be shifted around, but I am asking for Walton Academy to be closed. I have several videos and pictures of the school being in horrible conditions, from rat poop, ceiling leaking, and floors dismantled. Last school year, the hurricane came in September 24 and messed up the floors. We are in the middle of October 2025. As a school, we were advised that it would be fixed before Thanksgiving, then after Christmas break before coming back in January, and nothing else to the start of this school year. Those are statements that continue to be made, but no action is taken. We also received donations and was on the news twice. This school year, it was advised that the principal did not have time, so she was going to use cement paint. She could not use cement paint because she needed several days for it to dry, and school was starting next week. Upon walking into my class the first day of orientation, I seen several rat droppings. I advised. The next day, the rat was caught, but no other safety measures were taken besides putting rat traps down in the room where kids would be taught. Since the floor is not done, there are several holes in the wall which provide animals to come in. A child can catch rabies if bitten, and no certified nurse to take this harm for the child. I asked to be moved out that class and was placed in a room that had the ceilings leaking. The first day of school, the ceiling fell on me and a child. When asked why the ceiling leaking, it was advised that the roof needed to be fixed. The ceiling was leaking last school year. Upon being fired, that school became a storage room instead of being fixed. The safety of the kids on the playground, the building has rusted nails, wooden sticks. I stand here to say, Walton Academy has never been seen safety as a priority. For being open for over 20 years, over a year for things to be fixed, it seems the main focus is to hire your body and take kids in for the money. With the school closing, it provides someone to come in to reconstruct the entire campus. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Please keep your comments so that we can hear all the speakers. Thank you. Hi. Please take that outside.
Hi, my name's Ava, and I'm here today.
They're going right. Hold. Can you stop your time? Just hold, please. Are we having security out there? Security is out there? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Can you restart her time, please, Pablo? Okay, thank you.
My name's Ava. I'm here today to talk about school libraries. I'm a high school student, and recently I was reading a report by PEN America, which is a nonprofit organization, that said that Hillsborough County had temporarily removed 608 titles from school library shelves. That meant that out of the entire country, we were beaten in book bans by only San Antonio. Again, I'm a high school student, but even in my own library, in senior year, I cannot access, or in my own school library, sorry, I cannot access certain pieces of literature because lawmakers or the board has decided it would make us uncomfortable. But the thing is, art is designed sometimes to make us uncomfortable. We can't prepare students for life, and shield them from any discomfort, such as sexuality or slavery. It's not promoting radical ideals to educate our children. It's preparing them for a future that is diverse, no matter how many parents protest against that. And maybe these bans were just voted for because of the fear that the state would leech funding from our district. But will a national report about our censorship really help Hillsboro's image? Are parents going to enroll their child in the district if they know their children will grow up as Governor DeSantis' political pawns? And I don't simply talk about books about sexuality or the radical ideals that we've heard about today. I'm talking about Stephen King books. 61 have been pulled from high school shelves for review, and they have not been put back on yet. He's written 98 total. That means that we've effectively taken 2/3 of his body of work away from high school students. Why? Because of violent content? If we're really worried about exposing our teenagers to senseless brutality, should we cover their eyes whenever the news comes on? I doubt that this is going to make a ton of change, if I'm being honest, but I do really implore you, on behalf of myself and many other students, to consider the effect of these book bans, not only financially, but on the students themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Ms. Williams. I will be speaking on behalf of a parent, and I am talking for Walton Academy. I am writing you today with deep concern and heartfelt urgency regarding the purpose of closing Walton Academy Performing Arts School. As a parent whose children have thrived within the nurturing walls, I respectfully urge you to reconsider this motion and allow Walton Academy the opportunity to address and rectify the issues that have been deemed unsafe. Walton Academy has been a very big, important community for several years. It is more than just a school. It is a warm and safe, inclusive environment where children are encouraged to grow, express themselves, and pursue their passions. Personally and professionally, I agree with what this parent made sure that I articulate with you guys, because not only is it a community, but it is really family. Purposely for me, I am the dance teacher of Walton Academy, and I have truly found my purpose being at this space among this community. This is probably my favorite job I've absolutely have had the pleasure of being a part of, and just experiencing the development of the children as they continue to grow into 5th grade and figure out their lives after. We are one of the only schools that absolutely make sure that our kids know the opportunities for performing arts is still out there, no matter what. We really make sure at 5th grade, your dreams do not stop there. We make sure that they know exactly what other schools allow them the opportunity to thrive. And I just want to make sure you guys know as well that it is so, so important that these kids continue to see their future as bright as we have the opportunity to. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Kayla, and I'm the proud parent of Jace, who started at WAPA in 3rd grade after we moved here from Massachusetts. As a parent, one of the hardest parts of relocating was the fear of not finding the right school for my son, especially coming from a state with some of the top schools in the country. When we found WAPA, those fears were put to rest. From the moment we walked in, the staff and students made us feel like family. Jace adjusted to his new school and new life with ease, and that had so much to do with a loving, caring, connected, and safe environment at WAPA. This is not just a school. It's a community. It's a place where children are loved, learning is joyful, and where kids are safe to be themselves. Every day, I know my son is safe and being challenged and encouraged. Walton Academy gave my son a smooth and happy transition during a big life change. It gave me, as a parent, peace of mind that my child is in the right hands. I respectfully ask you to reconsider closing Walton Academy. This school is making a real difference. It is rooted in love, in family, in community, and that is something we cannot afford to lose. I encourage you to please give the school 90 days to make any needed adjustments. Thank you so much for your time and for hearing our voices. My son also wrote something that I need to read for him because he said, "To whom it may concern, Walton Academy is such a good school. I learn a lot every day and have fun while I'm at it. I make a lot of friends. Also, Walton Academy gives kids that push that some need. Walton Academy is a great school, so if it's going down, it's not going down without a fight. Shutting the school down also can cause stress to find a different school. It also may concern teachers, parents, friends, and students. Sincerely, Jace Bay."
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, board. Good evening, superintendent. I know you guys tired, so I'm trying to get this through with you all so you can get home to your families. I am David Thompson. I am a Hillsborough County educator over at Slime Middle Magnet School, teaching in some of the toughest and roughest environments that you can find. But I came from a school, Walton Academy. Walton Academy prepared me as a teacher to go into our classrooms as a district and deliver high instruction, have high standards and high expectations for all of the students, as well as I still get the opportunity to go back to Walton Academy and be trained and taught and given expertise on how to continue to go in the classroom and have favor and deliver on a daily basis. We all know the truth behind all of these things. Walton Academy has had a failing grade, and being the only school in Hillsborough County, that's like having a black eye. And that black eye is hard to have, but they're still fighting. They're still fighting tough. Many schools have had to go through these situations, and they've had favor and grace and mercy in the past. And it's only that I ask that for a school like Walton Academy, a charter school, which is a public school, it is a public charter school, that they also have the opportunity to fix. I'm willing to go into schools like Walton Academy and give my expertise and lend back and give free time tutoring and helping students and helping the school get to where they need to be. We have a multitude of men here willing to go back and make changes, to give their backbone, to do all the things that need to be done physically to the structure of the school. We know as charter schools, finances are low. We don't get all the support that one may need in order to fix things as drastic or as quick as it can. But we do know that it is happening. Walton Academy is a family. Walton Academy is a structure. Walton Academy is a vessel for student engagement, student enlightenment, and student innovation in Hillsborough County. So I hope that you all consider and allow Walton Academy to make the changes needed. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. That now concludes public comment. However, we're going to pivot to employee and student comment. I know we're starting a little bit early, but we want to make sure we get to our employee who's here. So we'll now take employee and student input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees and students of our district to attend meetings at 4 p.m. There are many ways for employees and students to make their voices heard, including through union representatives, emails, phone calls, one-to-one conversations, and public comment at the beginning of the meeting. The board wants to hear from you. With this section of our agenda, we're creating another avenue for employees and students to speak to the board. We're setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issue on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about a specific agenda on tonight's agenda item on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board about any issues related to your job in the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes, and I'll now call up our one speaker.
Hi, I'm Carissa Denica from Gaither High School. I'm here to raise an urgent concern regarding attendance procedures in our secondary schools, specifically the limitations teachers are facing with the FOCUS system. In our previous system, EdConnect, not mentioning Synergy, teachers had the ability to select from multiple attendance codes: school business, excused absence, excused tardy, and unexcused tardy. If there were discrepancies, they could be resolved through a report. It was a flexible system that allowed us to ensure accuracy. Unfortunately, the district has decided that the teachers would not have that flexibility and focus. They decided that once the office enters the attendance, whether it's a sign out, sign in, or excused absence, school business, teachers are locked out from making any corrections. This has led to a number of serious issues. Students that are marked absent who are sitting in my class, I can't correct. Students that are marked present who are out all day, I cannot correct. No way to correct attendance when school business is canceled or not entered, I cannot correct that. No way to fix sign-in or sign-out errors made by students at kiosk, I cannot correct that. These inaccuracies require constant communication with the attendance clerk or the main office, something that's simply not feasible during instructional time. Just a reminder, while attendance is part of my job is to teach these kids, and I use every single minute you give me to do that. So, just this week, I've already sent multiple emails, and it's Tuesday, about errors. And I still am not going to be able to get to all of them. The consequences are real. The students are going to face disciplinary action or lose privileges because of attendance and unmarked tardies, or marked tardies that maybe aren't. Teachers are held accountable for attendance, but I can't correct it. And the district is going to have an issue where you're going to lose FTE funds because the attendance is not correct. And speaking of FTE, there's usually a document I have to sign every October and March, where I have to say that the attendance taken is accurate to the best of my knowledge. At this time, I cannot, in good conscience, sign any FTE form that is me saying that I can tell that that is correct. I know it's not. I respectfully ask the district to consider reinstating teacher access to attendance, which Focus does have, but again, the district decided not to. Allow us to have the attendance corrections or implement a system that allows for more flexibility and accuracy. Our students and our staff deserve better. And I sent an email with this same information last week, and I received nothing back. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the following items will now be heard. C-202, C-301. 202, Superintendent recommendation that Charter and Walton Academy be terminated pursuant to 100233 Florida statutes. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Madam Chair, we need to do the consent agenda.
Oh, did I miss that? Oh, sorry. Just kidding. We're going to go on back. Didn't mean to get you excited. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Superintendent Ayers. Caught you off guard, too.
You caught me off guard as well.
Sorry.
Yeah,
We're moving on to the consent agenda. Do you want to tell us about
Yeah,
it?
thank you, Madam Chair. So just for full transparency, I do want the board and public to know that all items on the consent agenda have been reviewed with each board member. That's why if there's a little discussion with consent agenda, that is why.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Combs and a second by Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. Member Gray? Oh, has she gone? Okay, the consent agenda has been approved with Member Gray being away from the dais. We will now move on to the following items. They'll be heard. C-202 and C-301. 202, Superintendent recommendation that the Charter and Walton Academy be terminated pursuant to 100233 Florida statute. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, as superintendent, my highest responsibility is to ensure the safety, well-being, and educational integrity for every student in our district. When a school fails to meet those fundamental standards, despite oversight and opportunities to improve, we must act swiftly and decisively to protect our students. Pursuant to Section 1002.33 Florida statutes, I recommend the immediate termination of Walton Academy's charter due to documented and ongoing deficiencies that pose an immediate and serious danger to the health, safety, and welfare of students, including inadequate supervision, unsafe facility conditions, and failure to comply with required safety protocols despite prior district oversight and opportunities for corrective action. I do have our Chief of Security, Chief Newman, who's here as well. And Chief, if you could provide a little more details, please.
Sure, Madam Chair, Superintendent, board members, thank you for this opportunity. To give you some context and some explanation, there are two types of inspections that were born out of the tragedy of Marjory Stoneman Douglas in 2018 and the subsequent legislation. There's an inspection that is done at the state level, and the state inspectors have to come to our school sites at least once every 36 months. And there is an inspection that is done by my department at the district level, and we have to touch all of our sites at least once a year. Additionally, we have to test every one of our ELISA alert solutions here in the district before the beginning of each school year. For those of you not familiar with ELISA law, Alyssa Aldahef was killed in Building 12 at Stoneman Douglas. Her mother has championed some legislation. Hillsborough County had a vendor that we were using way before Alyssa's alert, so we were fine. When the state passed that law, many of our charters had a number of different vendors that they could select from, or they could have selected the vendor that Hillsborough County uses. In this case, Walton Academy used another vendor that we use. We have to test those. We have 3 different vendors we test for Alyssa's law. Alyssa's law has 2 primary functions. One, that's a silent panic alert that goes to the PSAPs for the 911 centers. It's done for one reason and one reason only, to cut down response times, because we know the quicker you get to a threat, the quicker you can mitigate it. It also allows the school to put itself into a lockdown protocol in case you have an active assailant on your campus. Really, that's the elements of Alyssa's Law. This week we received some correspondence from the state last Thursday about the state inspections that their auditor did. Now, when we do a district inspection, we put those findings into what's called the Florida Safe School Assessment Tool. Every principal, charter, and traditional have access to that tool. It goes in there, we provide technical assistance, we tell them what our findings were. When the state does an inspection and there's a compliance issue, that site's administration has to do a corrective action form. That form is then uploaded into that exact same portal. Moving backwards, this past Friday, after we received notification from the Office of Safe Schools in Tallahassee, Major O'Day, my team, went out to Walton Academy. They were quickly able to pull into the campus. The gate wasn't locked, which gave you access to the exclusionary zone of the campus. When they came on the campus, there were kids playing in the northern part in the playground area, but the faculty member assigned to watch them was sitting under a pavilion. There were several classrooms in that inspection that they did on Friday that still had not had their hard corners either marked or there were clutter. Now, those hard corner indications that we provide to every school might seem minor, but I submit to you the 14 students that lost their life February 14, 2018 would totally argue with you. That is a serious and basic element of the Marjory Stoneman Douglas Public Safety Bill. That's not the only time we had issue with the hard corners. Every time my folks have gone out there, every time the state has gone up there, including last spring, when the faculty and the administration admitted that 10 of their classrooms did not have the hard corner marked and they were going to fix it immediately. Friday, we still had several classes that still had not had their either hard corner marked or there was clutter inside. So we were able to gain access to the campus just by turning into the property where students were playing. We also had a gate that faces, they have two gates, they have one gate, two fences. The gate has a giant hole in it. A person my size could walk through. That's a vulnerability issue. That was addressed back in September when the state did their audit. These small things in the aggregate are frequent and non-compliant. The issues that Mr. Gibson provided to the Academy in the letter talked about the hard corners being marked, about no clutter being in there, and about the Alyssa Law. Alyssa's Law should be swift. Seconds matter. When Major O'Day was out at the campus on Friday, they asked to see if it was working to make sure that we had integration to the PSAP. Integration to the PSAP, the 911 center, is not the only part of Alyssa's Law. The principal could not access the vendor's application on her phone for either cellular or Wi-Fi or other technical issues. She had to go into her office and use her laptop. Once she was able to do that, then the integration happened. But I submit to you, an active assailant isn't going to wait for us to get to our laptop to activate Alyssa's Law. There have been district inspections out at Walton Academy and state inspections, which are completely different, that identify a lot of the same inconsistent compliant issues. There is more than what we can talk about. I think Mr. Porter will probably keep me in my boundaries about what we can talk about in an open forum when it comes to security measures. But my comments address what the state sent the letter to on Thursday and what Mr. Gibson sent to the Academy this week.
Thank you, Chief Newman. Before I hand it over to Mr. Porter, I just want to state for the record, so on our agenda item, you do have the letter that was sent to me from the Vice Chancellor from the Office of Safe Schools from the state, so that was sent to me. And also you'll see, for the record, our response back to the Office of Safe Schools, which includes our recommendation for our agenda item this evening. So I just want to read into the record those two items. They're there. And Mr. Porter?
Yeah, thank you, Superintendent, Madam Chair, and board members. You're here today because of a section in Florida statutes that allows you to terminate a charter immediately if certain criteria are met. And I want to read you that statute so you understand the legal underpinnings for tonight's agenda item. This comes from the statute that Mr. Ayers referenced, 1002.33. A charter may be terminated immediately if the sponsor, and the school board is the sponsor of the charter, sets forth in writing the particular facts and circumstances demonstrating that an immediate and serious danger to the health, safety, or welfare of the charter school students exists, that the immediate and serious danger is likely to continue, and that an immediate termination of the charter is necessary. You've heard from the superintendent. He sent a letter out to the charter listing what the issues are from a health, safety, and welfare perspective. You have the letter from the state, and you've heard testimony from your Chief of Security, John Newman. That is what you need to base your decision on tonight, that and only that, because that's an important legal element. The other part of the statute allows the charter to request a hearing within 10 days after this. So they will have a full opportunity to present their side of the story to an administrative law judge. Your only job tonight is to react to the superintendent's recommendation, and if you find, based on what he's presented to you, that there's an immediate threat to the health, safety, or welfare of the students, you should vote to terminate. If you don't find that, then you can go against the recommendation. But that's the legal underpinning of your decision making and the facts set before you. And with that, I'll turn it over to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. I need a motion and a second to approve 202. I have a motion by Member Perez and a second by Dr. Hahn. I don't know who pulled this, but if you want to discuss this, please get in the queue. Any discussion, please get in the queue. Member Perez?
So I have a question. The students who, this is a performing arts school, the students will be able to be moved to performing arts schools?
Yes, ma'am. And Mr. Murillo, if you could go ahead and address that, because he's already, with that being a possibility, depending on the vote tonight, Mr. Murillo has already had some correspondence. So, Mr. Murillo, if you could talk some of the schools that are available for performing arts and others.
Well, thank you, Superintendent. Member Perez, thank you for the question. We actually have been working in trying to communicate with all the families, in general communication from the support of the communications office, but also the charter office has been communicating, trying to contact each individual family. And if they can't actually get them through phone, they're even trying to go through email to actually get them the opportunities to do a few options that we have for the families. One is actually, of course, they have their neighborhood school that we provide here in the district. Mm-hmm. We also have 4 elementary schools that are close proximity to actually the charter school, in which they are in Mendenhall, Oak Grove, Seminole Heights, and Broward. But also, if they still, that doesn't facilitate their need, depending on the decision made tonight, actually it's open for student placement and choice office to actually facilitate any placement for them. When it comes to the performing arts school, I communicated with student placement office in Muller Elementary and Shore Elementary will be available if that's the need and the wishes of the families as well.
And thank you, Mr. Murillo. And those two, Muller and Shore, are 2 performing arts elementary magnets that will be open for choice available to those students. Yes, ma'am.
For me, it's alarming that the state, normally the state is very pro charter schools, and when they send a letter asking for the closure of one, it's a red flag for me. When we have, and there's been so many mass shootings and school shootings. When we leave a school open for that, to me, the protection and the security of our students is first and foremost to me. And when we don't act, in that realm, when we don't make sure that the school is protecting our students and making sure that we are able to call or get assistance to the students in time, that for me is a problem.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Gray?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I do applaud the community for speaking forth of their experiences. That was very, very heartfelt. I think one of the bigger pictures, and by the way, Member Perez, when we talk about safety, if you watched the Stoneman Douglas, the shooting, you would have just been appalled of the availability of someone getting inside the school so quickly, so easily. And that alone should remind all of us that the most important job, at least for our school board members and the superintendent, is the safety of our children. Number one priority. But back to the community, when we start thinking about where the students go, or the children, and we're talking about the performing arts, for example, Moeller and Shore, do we have transportation?
Yes, and I failed to mention that, so thank you, Ms. Member Gray, that we do, transportation would be included for Moeller and Shore in the traditional school at which they resided in.
Yeah, and both of those schools are excellent in the performing arts as well. I think the bigger picture, too, and the truism is the lack of oversight and accountability, not only to this particular school, but to many of our charters. When we don't have those visits, if you remember, Superintendent Van Ayers, we had 4 visits per charter school. The district could do that and oversee them. Now we're down to 1. So there's a tremendous gap of what part do we have as a district to see what's going on visually, so that there's a big disconnect. But when we have our chief share the amount of safety, lacking safety, then I have to say, agreeing with Member Perez, that I stand fast. Children are the most important resources that we could possibly, we got to keep them safe. And that's number one. So thank you. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. I appreciate everybody who's come in today to speak, and I appreciate all the information, especially about the security and safety, the serious deficiencies, the front gate, the hard corners. Our number one goal for students is safety. Our second goal is academics. As someone who was the first person in my family to go to college, and I grew up with cyclical poverty, when I make a decision and when I think about things in this district, I always consider students first. That is the biggest concern. It's not the adults in the room, it's not the community, it's the students. How does a child be able to live a better life and not have generational poverty? When I look at this school, Walton Academy, we're absolutely closing it for safety, but I have some serious concerns. We have 236 schools in Hillsborough County, and not a single one has an administrator that doesn't have an administration background or a teaching background. Since 2004, this school has been run by somebody who doesn't have an education background. Last week, when I spoke to Ms. Walton, she told me she made $89,000. Now, let's look at the facts. Her FAST data, academically, 90% of the students are not reading on level, 1 or 2. Kindergarten, 82% below level. First grade, 90% below level. Second grade, 81% below level. For math, 90% in K. First grade, 90%, and second grade, 81%. You only have 1 certified teacher. And as you gave me the audit, and I looked at the audit, Pablo, if you will share that audit up here, please, if you'll pass that around. I looked at this audit. $877,000 was spent in instruction. You only spent $280 for training. The board made $58,000. The general admission and school admission together, nearly $500,000. You spent $486,000 on the administration and almost the same amount for teachers. The operation of the plant, $222,000, and we can't fix those floors. Community service, $30,000, and interest debt service, $26,000. Last night, as I looked at your lease agreement, this is what I found. Next page, Pablo. Your husband is the landlord, and $12,233 is spent every month for this facility. This is so much greater to look at these children who are reading below level, and the one person that's not benefiting is students. This is shameful. Since 2004, the grades have gone up and down, and almost always it's a D or an F. So for me, I'm closing the facility because of safety. But my concerns, I would like to see the breakdown, like I've been waiting for 3 other charters for the audits for them. 3 of them. I would like to see the breakdown in administration when I see almost $500,000 spent and not have facilities or the books. I want a breakdown from your audit. I spent hours last night looking at every single page in the audit. And when I look at the fund balance, when I look at the operation of the plant, $222,000, where is this money? We have to do better for students. The idea that 90% of the students are not even level 3. You have no 4 or 5 levels. I taught at Franklin Middle School. I taught in the urban core. I had students who worked with each other. That's how they learned from one another. But when you have all level 90% of students.
Please allow board members to have their comments. We allow people to have public comment.
This is based on your audit. This is based on your information, and I've shared one of the audit pages for the last 2 years with the school board members. This is so concerning to me.
Again, please allow board members to have discussion up here. We allowed everyone to have their public comment, and this is our opportunity to discuss as a board these agenda items. And when people yell out, it makes it very hard for me to focus on what my colleague is saying. Thank you. I appreciate it. Dr. Hahn?
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. I appreciate everyone coming out and speaking so passionately about their school. Especially such a small school. I'm sure you all feel very much like family, very close. These decisions are never easy for this board. In rereading the letter from the Department of Education that came to us from Darren Norris, who's the Vice Chancellor, it's on the State Board of Ed, letterhead, and it comes out of the Commissioner of Education's office. So, I get concerned because they're now bringing this to our attention as well. And they're saying that the academies failed to meet even the most basic expectations of competence and responsibility related to school safety. Hillsborough County School District, as the sponsor for this charter, and this board approved this, some of us approved it, is responsible for these students and must take appropriate action. I personally feel responsible because now it's been brought to all of our attention. And we become culpable if something happens because now we know there are grave safety issues. And, and now that we know about it, and these are not small things like a broken window or, these are major security issues that certainly if our schools were coming under this, having any of these issues, we'd have a room full of parents here as well. I feel very responsible if something happened. I don't honestly think I could ever forgive myself. And unfortunately, like Member Gray said, there's a lot of school violence lately. I feel like every other week there's some type of school shooting happening across our country. And it's just, we are reminded every time we come to a school board meeting, the amount of security that's needed to just keep everybody in this room safe tonight. So, you have small children in a school and they deserve, every safety precaution that we can provide them to be safe in their environment. And as my other school board members said, safety is paramount to us. It's above academics. Everybody who has a child or cares about a child knows their world would be devastated if something happened to that child. So, I do think that these safety issues didn't just happen. There's been, these obviously have been building, and there's been ample time especially probably over the summer where these things could have been addressed when children were not in the building. But to give you more time, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, a week, whatever it is, means that every one of us are putting kids in jeopardy. And for me, that's not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk. And, I don't think we are, we have the support of the state of Florida, the Department of Education. And after Chief Newman's testimony, I think it's clear what the responsible thing to do this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank everyone for coming out because I know the difficulty is very hard closing a school because we had some schools to be closed in District 5. But we have one thing in common that this board is all about. The valuable denominator is students. We look out for the safety of students, no matter where they are or what school they go to. And it's so important to have that. Because if we, during the course of a year, and I'm looking over some information here, he said over the course of 1 year, there have been several violations that have not been recognized and taken care of. The one thing that I do know as a principal, and I was a principal at 2 different schools, at Chamberlain High School and the Land of the Tigers, Milton, Georgia Milton High School. And I do realize when the state comes out or when the district comes out for safety, you need to get on top of it. That's important. You need to get on top of it. Because if you don't get on top of it and something happens, then we're in deep trouble. And it's not about color. It's not about anything. It's about doing what's right for students. It's about safety. And that's what we are talking about, safety. We got to take safety seriously. Because as we look around the country, how many people got in trouble, got shot, got killed, because they did not have safety procedures in place. And that bothers me as a former principal, as an area superintendent, as an area director, as assistant principal, as an APC, as an APA in high school. I've been at all. I've been at all levels. Because we have to look at safety. That's the most important part. No safety, no learning. You have to have the personnel to be there to make sure that things are running right. And I'm not saying we don't have the right personality, but when I look at all the information that I receive, we're not doing the right thing, people. And I'm all about the right thing. And everybody that knows me know I believe in what's right. And I've worked hard for students all my life. And I don't want to ever be put in a predicament where students are not safe. And we're not safe. I don't feel comfortable. We're not safe. We're not doing the things it takes. It's been a year on some of these things that still have not been corrected. Now, that's what I have to say. And we got to continue to work hard. And Madam Chair, thank you, because I don't feel comfortable saying yes to reopening that school.
Thank you, Member Washington. Please again, allow us to speak up here. Please allow us. I find it, very frustrating that we allow public comment and that when it's our turn, people are not allowing us to speak. But aside from that, I really do empathize with everybody who's come out tonight. I know how frustrating it must be to, on a very short amount of notice, think about your school closing and what that looks like, trying to transition your children, figuring out car rides and enrollment and extracurricular stuff. So I hope that it is coming through that while we feel responsible for this and we're put in a position where safety is the number one thing, there is a lot of empathy for all of the families, for the employees of the school who have to come and on short notice, unfortunately, possibly have the school closed. But I think that the superintendent, our chief of schools, the state has laid out just a situation where it's impossible to allow the schools to remain open as is. I mean, from what you said, Mr. Porter, they have the right to appeal this and they have the right to go before magistrate.
There'll be a Mr. Gibson has advised that they're going to request a hearing, so there will be a full hearing on this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in Broward, they removed the entire board for the shooting that you referenced because they found the board to be in some way responsible for not hardening or doing more to harden the school in the case of the school shooting. The board was actually many members of the board were removed in that situation, because ultimately it does come down, as Dr. Hahn has mentioned, to us being responsible for student safety. So aside from the risk of, not having a system that works in the case of an emergency that can be activated from your cell phone, not having a campus that's secure, not having the hard corners that you've mentioned, I am concerned about the facility of the building. When you have employees, not just who spoke at public comment, but who have repeatedly talked about holes or drywalls or flooring after hurricanes that could have mold or that is unsafe, it makes me very concerned in general, safety all the way around. And then when you layer it with the fact that there's such small proficiency academically, I mean, we're talking about, we want to make sure that our kids can leave school and be able to, at the very level, be on level with reading. I mean, we push with data for that every single day in our traditional public schools. And as Member Washington has mentioned, we've closed our own schools. That is very hard for less than this, where there weren't safety violations. So, I know this is the last thing that the community wants to hear. Again, I appreciate everyone who came out today. I apologize to be in this position. I honestly hope that there can be something happen where there's an appeal and that provides some time, and maybe the school can get what they need to, meet the violations or get what they need to stay open. But for me, with everything that you've presented, your recommendation, the letter from the state, and everything that I've learned, I also unfortunately have to vote to close the school, and it's a hard decision that I hate to make, but it feels like the one that we have to make as a board. So I appreciate your time. Mr. Porter?
Board members, I appreciate all of your comments, and just to reiterate, just so everyone's on the same page of what we're voting for, this is a statutory provision. Your job as a sponsor to if you do find that there's a serious danger to the health, safety, or welfare of the charter school students, that has been presented to you by the superintendent, the letter from the state, and from the chief of security. That needs to be the basis of your decision, not anything else. And the comments are all appreciated and have value, but the decision needs to be based on the letter that the superintendent sent the state in Mr. Newman's testimony dealing with health and safety.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Seeing that there's no further comments or concerns, please vote when your lights appear. Could you reiterate what the vote would be?
The recommendation of the superintendent is to immediately terminate the charter for Walton Academy.
So voting yes would mean?
Voting yes means that you agree with the immediate termination. Voting no means that you would want to keep the school open.
Thank you. Please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. We'll now move on to C301. Request for proposals, mental health intensive outpatient services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item. Oh, do you want me to wait to clear the auditorium for a few minutes?
Good idea to take a
We'll
brief
wait.
recess. You could take
You
a
want
brief
to take
recess.
a 5-minute recess? Okay. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Do you want me to bang? Hello. We're coming back in 5. Superintendent Ayers, 4. Member Combs, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. 301, request for proposals, mental health intensive outpatient services. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The contract with Charlie Health Mental Health Services will deliver the critical work HCPS is undertaking to expand access to mental health services through a virtual intensive outpatient program. This partnership provides more intensive, evidence-based support for students demonstrating the greatest need for mental health intervention. Students who participate in the program can expect to demonstrate improved emotional wellness and enhanced skills necessary for behavioral, emotional, and academic success. These gains result in reduced Baker Act, reduction in suicidal ideation, violent ideation, depressive tendencies, and anxious tendencies, along with improvement in academic performance as their mental health and well-being improves. That is 301. And Michael Kelleher, yep, there's Michael, is here if you have any additional questions with 301, which is the Charlie Health Mental Health Services.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C301. I have a motion by Member Gray and a second by Member Perez. Member Combs and Member Gray pulled this item. Member Gray, do you have a question?
Madam Chair, I already had my questions answered. Thank you.
Nice. Member Combs?
Well, I mean, since the mental health team stayed here, I want to make sure just to have a couple comments. You know, the data from the CDC and the Youth Risk Behavior Survey and the National Survey of Children's Health, you know, between ages of 3 to 17, 21% of children are diagnosed with mental, emotional, or behavior condition. And Florida, which is very similar to the national, because I looked at the national and also the state average, 39.3% reported feeling sad or hopeless for 2 weeks or more. I mean, that is 4 out of every 10 students feels that way, and that is just such a huge national epidemic. So I can't thank, Mr. Keller, I hope I said, and his entire team for all that you do for mental health. Charlie Health is just one of the many things that we bring. I say this all the time. You know, you cannot do well in life if your mental health struggles, and you can, but your academic health can be great, but if your mental health struggles, you're never going to be able to launch. And with mental health, if you have strong mental health, you can really achieve anything, and you can reinvent yourself so many different times. So it is so important that this district focuses on it, and thank you for your leadership. It's so important. You know, the access to mental health services that Charlie Health is going to provide is more than a weekly therapy, and make sure that students have that deep 9 to 12 hours if they need that. A lot of families don't have the ability financially, or they don't have the ability time, or sometimes they're really unaware. We work closely with families. We want to make sure we are not making decisions for families. We're working along with families, with those children. I mean, just a couple days ago, I received an email from someone that said, this is happening. What can I do to support my child? This type of program reduces Baker Acts, reduces suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, depressive tendencies, anxiety, and obviously that improves academic performance. So I can't thank you and your team enough for making this a priority. I know school psychologists, social workers, mental health specialists, our teachers, our administrators, everyone's working together, and to have an access to this program is very important. So I want to thank you for all of that.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So recently there was a report that came out regarding youth and mental health, and it pointed out that boys especially are on an uptick in their crisis, and how one of the main things was their perception of themselves, and their worry is it falls into their jobs. You know, they don't know what they're going to do once they get out of school, if they're going to go to college, school concerns, not making grades, and how we as a society really need to pay attention to this, and also focus on how media is really moving this needle up and ticking up the mental health issues. where it is with social media platforms is really affecting and responsible for the accountability for this. But also in this report, it talked about the vulnerability of our children under the age of 15. So you bringing this platform into our schools really is going to help with our students in this mental health crisis, because I've been really worried, both watching our schools and the way our children are starting to really, the uptick with the acting out with our children, but also, as a mental health provider on the outside, I have a lot of parents who are reaching out for these services. But the problem also is that a lot of parents, when they go in the evening to try to find mental health services, a lot of the services are not available in the evening. So, these services, providing these services to our children during the day is a win-win for these families, for the kids, and also for us, because getting these behaviors to try to take them down is going to be helpful. So thank you for bringing this platform to us, especially, and I want to thank my fellow board members for starting to really realize the mental health and talk about it, because the more we as a board speak to mental health, the more the stigma will start being really, really removed, and our schools, our teachers, our staff will really embrace it. Will really embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Ms. Perez, I really want to thank you for being a fighter for mental health, because it's so important. And people don't realize it. It's very important. And you brought it to the board. I remember the first time we ran for office, Karen beat me for the election, but we didn't know that much about mental health, and Karen was the forefront run on that. And thank you for doing that great job, and we continue to back you behind mental health.
Thank you, Member Washington. Seeing no further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. And the motion passes unanimously. We'll now move on to Superintendent's comments. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just some updates here on this first board meeting after the end of the first quarter. And actually two of our favorite months and weeks, and it's actually Mr. Brady's favorite month. And it's not working. You said it was on. Here it is. Mr. Brady's favorite month, STEMtober, and Ms. Bergman's favorite month, STEMtober. So this month we're celebrating the power of science, technology, engineering, and math, the building blocks of innovation and discovery. From coding and robotics to experiments and exploration, our students are creating the future today. Our academics team, under the leadership of Mr. Brady, have planned great STEM-focused events across the country this month, like the Science Olympics at Mosey, and on October 18th, the STEM Day Extravaganza, and I know, Dr. Hahn, you always go to that, at MacDill Air Force Base on October 31st, where over 1,400 of our students will be attending this exciting event, which will feature a variety of hands-on STEM activities and exhibits designed to inspire engaged students from across the region. So that is our STEMtober for the month of October. And we also have Mr. Farkas's favorite week, National School Lunch Week. I know, huh? Yeah. Taste the world with HCPS. This week is a National School Lunch Week. Grab your school lunch passport and join the adventure. Discover new flavors, fuel your body, and celebrate the incredible work of our Student Nutrition Services team. Just a shout out to Shani Hall, her incredible team. National School Lunch Week, October 13th through the 17th this week. And we had Dr. Whalen and I know, Member Combs, you were there earlier in the day, but we had our HCPS intern recognition over at HEF. And thanks to our clinical educator team and human resource led by Kay Bonte and the HEF Hillsborough Education Foundation, providing our interns time to shop at the free teacher supply store on Tuesday of last week. This group of interns from a mix of universities, predominantly from USF and University of Tampa. This follows their final semester of the internship, and they will be graduating this December. So it was a really cool opportunity. Dr. Wheeler and I were out there, and like I mentioned, Member Coombs, you were there earlier in the day, just to talk to some of the interns that are so excited to have, their first, hopefully, opportunity to be employed here at Hillsborough County Public Schools after they complete their internship. So that was a real neat thing, and thanks to HEF for having that. Last Wednesday, bright and early, I joined the Sidewalk Stompers and Mayor Jane Castro for our National Walk and Bike to School Day at Roosevelt Elementary. This National Day encourages students to be healthy and safe as they walk or bike to and from school. So I just want to thank Emily from Sidewalk Stompers. Over 300 students over at Roosevelt that walk or bike to school every single day. So that was a cool, great morning, and thank you to Mayor Castro for joining us as well. And Member Perez, you mentioned the stigma, and I do want to give a shout out. This was, and board members, in the, looking forward, and we have this. I think this is, where'd Michael go? Did he leave? This is year what now, Tracy, with Strike the Stigma? I think it's 4 or 5. Where today Florida Blue and the Tampa Bay Lightning hosted 7 high schools and over 300 students, staff, and community partners in the Strike the Stigma Symposium. During the event, students from Brandon, Chamberlain, Durant, Jefferson, King, Steinbrenner, and Tampa Bay Tech engaged in activities and provided resources on mental health, importance of emotional wellness, and how to lower stigma surrounding these topics. So just a special shout out to Tracy Brown, Elizabeth Tanner, Michael Kelleher, who you saw earlier, with this event. And this is opportunity, Florida Blue, Tampa Bay Lightning. This is an event, no cost to our district. Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida Blue put it on, offer charter bus service for our students. So I was very, very impressed over at now Benchmark Arena over there this morning. No, I'll never get that right. Benchmark. All right. So just a congratulations to Julia Sarmiento. Congratulations to Julia from our academics team for being awarded Excellence in Education by Viva Tampa Bay at the recent Hispanic Heritage Community Heroes Awards. She was one of 8 individuals recognized as heroes who daily contribute to our community, protect us, and provide education to our children. So congratulations to Julia. Congrats. Ms. McCray, Mr. Brady, thank you for also being there and supporting Julia. And also we had board members. You were there with me, Dr. Hahn. Oh, and Ms. Rendon was there at the Sheriff's Hispanic Advisory Council Advocate of the Year during that event. Jessica Della Prida from our ELL team, who back in September was awarded the Hispanic Advocate of the Year by the Sheriff's Hispanic Advisory Council. Member Hahn, Dr. Hahn, Member Rendon were out there as well to celebrate the Sheriff's Hispanic Advisory Council and to celebrate Jessica. Just an incredible honor for her to get that award. And Dr. Graves and myself were able to, we had talked about this before, but we had our 4 new members of the Kahn Distinguished Principals Fellowship. We had 4 that just completed, and now the 4, Dr. Scotty Basham, Crystal Brown, Katie Rocha, and Dr. Marcos Rodriguez, who are 4 of 60 principals in the entire country who will be part of the Kahn Fellow 25-26 cohort. So just, they actually got through their first session, I guess, right, Dr. Graves, this past weekend. So they're back at work, but they had an incredible weekend of professional development as their first weekend in the Kahns Fellows. And congratulations to 20 of our schools that received recognition from the Florida Positive Behavior Interventions and Support Project as model schools for the 24-25 school year. I know, Member Gray, you big proponent of PBIS. Florida PBIS provides professional learning to districts and development and implementation of positive behavioral interventions and support at school-wide, which is Tier 1, selected group Tier 2, and of course Tier 3, which is individual student levels. Each year, schools that are trained and active with Florida PBIS project can apply for a Model School Award, which recognizes exemplary schools based on specific implementation and outcome criteria. Thanks to Stacy Wren and our Title I Behavior Department for their work on this project and getting our schools involved. And congratulations to those 20 schools that were our Model School Awards. So special congrats out to our silver and bronze winners there. Not only School Lunch Week, but we have also National Bus Safety Week. October 20th, which is next week, starts National Bus Safety Week, and we celebrate our dedicated drivers, attendants, mechanics, and everyone on our transportation team. And I want to remind everyone, students, parents, and community members about the importance of school bus safety. And, as we mentioned, we transport almost 78,000 students every single day to and from school. So just next week, National School Bus Safety Week, and just reminder and thanks to all of our great transportation team and all they do. And that operation still amazes me to think every morning we get up, the operation of getting all those students to and from school every day is pretty remarkable. So just a special shout out to our team. And board members, you're all familiar with this, but here we go again. It's that first application period, so spread the word. School choice and magnet application window open October 20th, and it goes to December 7th. So remember that date, everyone, and join us at one of the events to explore. But that is our big window, and our expo will be on Monday, October 20th, from 4 to 7 at Jefferson High School, where you can find the best fit for your child, ask questions, and even apply on the spot. So that is that initial window, October 20th to December the 7th. And just a reminder that report cards from the first quarter will be available online on October 27th. The report cards can be viewed on the Focus app. And to date, over 70,000 of our families have created their account on Focus. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to download that app. And you can download that app on Google Play and Apple via your smart device, or you can visit hillsboroschools.org for more information. Board members, we did have a pretty extensive presentation today on PM1, which is our progress monitoring. So before we get into PM2, which will be sometime in mid-December, I'll have Mr. Brady will get that information out in our my next superintendent's comments. We'll present that information on PM1, where we are, but he'll get that information out to you so you can see it. But for the sake of time, we'll get that out to you, but we'll present before the board here before we get to our next PM2 window. And those are my updates. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We'll now move on to board member comments. Board members, just a reminder, you'll have 5 minutes each to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Member Gray.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Real quick, but Julia Saramento did not do the real quick. She works on it very, very hard with the Hispanic community. She won the Viva Tampa Bay Hispanic Community Award, a great asset to our Hillsborough Healthy Schools Committee and our Hispanic Forum. Congratulations, Julia. Next, Tampa Bay Boulevard Elementary School is a transformational school. Big time, strong leadership, Principal Christine Vega, and effective teacher teams like Ms. Monte and Mr. Maloney. In every class that I went to, all those kids were engaged and celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Thanks also to our operations division, Ben Moore and the infamous Chris Farkas, wherever you are, and our oversight committee as well. Those sales tax dollars are making that school and many schools shine, as well deserved that is. Next, real quick, and Pablo, you can put the Rampello K through 8, again, a tribute to the Hispanic Heritage Month. We had our reading. Thank you also to Melissa Magado, Jessica De La Prida, and Veronica Schmidt-Gomez for putting all this together. That's the first grade class. We got to read, as many of you did, the Hispanic novels. Oh, those pictures there, well, we're going to go back up. That is, let's keep that one because we got off subject. Okay, any other, didn't I have a few more, Pablo, on that one? Okay, here, check out these bikes. Now, this is the eclectic library of Rampella. So read and ride. That whole library is just it's just a state of art and a state of activity. But at any rate, those the librarian needs to be recognized. Unfortunately, she wasn't there when I got there. But thanks to the wonderful principal Justin Yeomans, AP Principal Stephanie Texiera, and AP Michael Welch for all the hard effort that you're doing. Wonderful school. And board members, I was listening tonight, as we all were, regarding the Schools of Hope. I would like to see if we can put the Schools of Hope on the suspended agenda. The community seems to want to know where their tax dollars are going, and this is coming up along with other entities, corporate entities, coming into our school district, and will be co-locating. So in this spirit, I would like to see board members, if we put this on suspended agenda, if I can get that commitment, and Superintendent Van Ayers is shaking yes. And I think that would be a good idea. Let's keep the pulse on what's going on with this co-location. And Mr. Farkas, eventually we're going to have a timeline. You've got some things, many things coming up to share with us. So did you want to say something, Superintendent?
No, fine. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's done. I'm all done with my comments before 5 minutes.
Nice job. 2 minutes left at that.
Gosh.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. I want to thank the people who are still here today, who spoke about the Schools of Hope and spoke about the concern. And thank you, Member Gray. That's on the top of my list. I mean, there are some great public schools and there are some great charter schools. And there are some charter schools that are not here for students. So I think it's really, really important that we keep a pulse on what's happening in our community. I say this often, our biggest asset in this country are students. And we are forgetting that. And I think it's very scary what's happening in our country right now. As far as not prioritizing education, people come from all over the world to get an education. This has been a place, I've traveled all over the world, and I've seen third world countries. And the difference between third world countries and first world countries is all students being able to get an education. That is the big difference. Taxpayers, regardless if they're Republican, Democrat, or independent, need to start finding out what's happening. It doesn't matter if you have children in the schools. You have to think about what's happening outside your schools. You have to ask yourself, if these schools of hope, is it about choice? Is it about students? Or is it about profit? So look at that and think about that. Some of my concerns are the ambiguous terms and the timing of how this happened when voters were not paying attention, when it says excess seats, underutilized, vacant, or surplus. What about students who are ESC or Title I that may need more room? What about students who move in the middle of the year? What about the required to provide services at no cost, custodial work, maintenance, school safety, food service, nursing, and student transportation with no oversight? Schools of Hope should be guaranteed that teachers have a degree or a master's degree. This doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee any kind of academic, and it doesn't guarantee any kind of oversight. That is the most important thing. Taxpayers should think, where are my dollars going? Are they going into the pockets of people, or are they going into educators who are going to educate the future? We need to develop a clear utilization standard. We need to require Schools of Hope to pay for the school district for the amount of services utilized. And most importantly, we need to require oversight. No matter what school you go to, private, public, charter, or if you're homeschooled, we need to make sure there's oversight, because I don't want to wake up in 10 years and see that Tampa is now a third world country because we have thousands, tens of thousands, millions of students who aren't educated. And as I said, we need to make sure, I always say, School of Hope, then give me hope by guaranteeing a qualified teacher, small classroom, great curriculum, great facility. That gives children hope. Bringing people in here with no oversight is no hope at all. And on a lighter note, I really want to say thank you to everyone who made the 4th Hispanic Heritage Celebration so amazing. Thank you, Mr. Washington, for coming. And thank you, Karen Perez. I'm so glad we have a strong Hispanic voice on this board. I wasn't born but I was, I moved over here at 8 years old, and I experienced a lot of the similar things that a lot of our students who come here as immigrants. And I think about town and country and how it thrives. Thank you so much to Leto High School, Principal Artabassi, the administration, the ROTC, culinary, Marcos Murillo, who does so much, the operations, who made sure that facility was great, Melissa, who got Soul 97.1. We had 27 schools and 24 vendors, and I have a 30-second video to share. Here we are at our 4th year Hispanic Heritage Celebration. Really excited. 26 schools, 24 vendors. We have so many performances. high school, elementary, middle schools. This is really a time to celebrate our Hispanic community and for everyone to come together, celebrate the families, the culture, our students. So this is so exciting. And thank you, Sebastian, for always creating such great video, and all of the communications team as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. Member Washington?
Thank you. I just want to say, you know, sitting on the board.
There's one simple.
Oh, the video went. I think the video went.
Oh, I thought it was a ghost after me or something. Chris, I thought I was ready to run out of here now. For real. Okay, but I just wanted to say, you know, sitting on this board, we have to make some tough decisions. And, you know, but the one valuable, denominator is students. We make some tough decisions over the years. We made some really tough decisions, but we make the best was for students. And I want to thank you in the back for supporting public school system, because you know what? We work hard every day. Every day our teachers, they all work hard so our students could be successful. And that's what it's all about. And Superintendent, you and your staff, y'all work hard. People don't realize, because you sit up front, you wear suits, you walk around, they think you're not working, but you're really working. I mean, that's a true fact, though. You work. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, you know, I just want to thank you all, and let you know we make tough decisions. And the one thing I love about our board is our common denominator, students. No matter what we say and how we feel at times, we all here for students, and that's so important. Now, moving along here, probably I want to go to the bilingual reading at Wild Mama. I went to Wild Mama, had a great time. I had a great time there reading to the students. And you know, I always leave money. And they were so nice, very attentive. They had great questions. But one of their questions was, the first question was, how old are you? I said, buddy, I bet y'all would. I asked that question. So I gave him the answer. And then one little boy said, ooh, you real old. I said, thank you, sir. That's just what I needed today, a motivational speech. But we had a great time at Wild Mama, and I gave them a pizza. They're going to have a pizza party on me. So they were real, real happy about that. And the students were very attentive. And I truly enjoyed. I didn't see Karen because I think she was at the principal's meeting or some kind of training. Karen Fletcher, the principal there. Moving along now to Ellison, we went to Ellison Elementary School. We had the 100-year celebration, and Patty and we had Karen and Lynn. Thank y'all for coming, because we're really fantastic. And we had some more, and Shay and all of you guys came. It was really good. It was well planned. We had really a lot of people there, and people had been there for years. I mean, came back to celebrate that 100-year celebration. And you can see our pictures on there. We really had a great time. And I want to say congratulations to Jennifer Hines, who's the principal there now. She did a great job. And then we moving on. We over at King High School. We had Principal Greg Basham there. I went there to the Workforce Development Partnership. I got there a little bit late because we ran over, but the kids were very attentive. They were great. They wanted to know about careers they had. It was just fantastic, you know. Got a chance to talk to quite a few of them. They wanted to know what I did. I told them the school board. They want to know about school board, you know. And I said, that's a great job to have. I hope you get it. Great job. So it was fun. We had a good time. We had a great time. And I want to thank Greg Basham. He does a great job as a principal, people. He's very well loved by those students. Believe me, he does. He really does a good job. So, Mr. Farkas, we had a couple of things we discussed, so I'll talk to you later about it. Okay. And last but not least, the Hispanic heritage. We need to name that for you. Nadia, we do. I mean, really, we need that big tent, Nadia Combs. Yeah, really. But because you know, it was really nice, and the people enjoyed. We had so many people coming out. I think that was my first time coming, but I truly enjoyed. And Marcus, thank you for enhancing me, because I was standing up looking around. you told me some things that was going on I didn't know. But I thank you, and Nadia, I thank you for doing a great job, day in and day out over there. That must be applauded for Lato, because there's nothing over there. When you bring something over there, they're very pleased. It was like he was a queen. I felt kind of bad. They walked past me. They went directly to her. So it was great. I know. But anyway, thank you, and I truly enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Perez?
Yeah, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. Me and the superintendent did our read aloud at Canella. Yeah, I didn't bring any pictures, but we had a great time. So he read in Spanish, I read in English. It was great, and yeah, he did. And when he didn't know the word, the students helped him along. It was really a lot of fun. Yeah, but Canella has really improved that school. She's planted a lot of plants, and we got a chance to speak with the staff there. Yeah, it's been fabulous. So, but I just wanted to share that because we had a great time. That's it for me.
Thank you, Member Perez. All right, I'll try to be quick. First of all, I just want to say I had the opportunity to go out to our success centers, Brandon and North Tampa, and I just really want to thank Mr. Young for all the work that he's done from the last time I've gone out there, some of the things that we've addressed. Both of the principals out there are doing such an amazing job and really turning those success centers around, and the support from the district has been life-changing for those schools and the students there. So I just want to say thank you to Mr. Young for all the work that he's doing. I would like to, Mr. Farkas, put in a request that for North Tampa Success Center, we bring back some transportation like we have at Brandon Success Center and put some equity in there, but we can talk about that later. That is my request. I also want to give a shout out. It sounds like Hill Middle School is moving forward with their music conservatory, which is really exciting. If you know anything about Hill, they have an amazing music program there. We've been really lucky with the teachers that we have there. So I'm really excited that there's going to be some choice seats open for people who really value music and happen to live in that area or maybe outside of it to be able to partake in that amazing music program, especially when we see such an erosion with our strings programs in so many of our middle schools, to be able to really highlight that. I appreciate all the hard work that goes into that, and I'm excited for the families to have an opportunity to go to that school and experience that. I also want to let people know that I am starting up a District 3 Student Advisory Committee that will be sent out to all of the parents, an application of all the high schoolers in my district, but I just want to get that out there that I'm starting. I'm inspired by you, Superintendent Ayers, and I'm excited to hear all the feedback from our students. Speaking of, my son asked me to put in a request to Student Nutrition to get more spicy chicken sandwiches at Williams, if that's an opportunity. I did tell him I would pass that along in the vein of student advocacy and starting my student advocacy committee. It's coming. I would like a follow-up on what the teacher spoke about tonight with the focus and the availability. It sounds like it should be an easy fix of something we're able to support them with. So I'd love some follow-up on that. I did have a question. I saw something circulating around our animal policy that we passed, causing some issues with allowing agriculture animals to come in for Great American Teach-In. You don't necessarily have to speak to that right now because I know the superintendent's not coming, but I would love some follow-up on that privately regarding that. So those are really the things I want to highlight. I think Member Combs about bringing up the Schools of Hope. I know this is something that we're going to talk about thoroughly as a district. I'm hoping we can have a workshop on it. I think my biggest concern, aside from, the fact that this was a very quickly moving past piece of legislation that the community didn't really have a chance to really digest or give feedback around, is just the lack of clarity and thought out process around so many questions around what it's going to look like, what happens if we expand, what are the expectations of these Schools of Hope. There's so many unanswered questions. To roll out something this large without any community feedback is really problematic, I think, and kind of circumvents the whole idea of democracy and community-led leadership. And so I'm anxious to hear what we are going to be talking about as a board as we move forward and navigate this, because it just feels like a very rushed piece of legislation that, and we've seen this happen with Schools of Hope, where there wasn't a good. Schools of Hope with the expansion of the vouchers, where there wasn't a good system to track the students, and financially, it's a possibility that they double pay for students because we rush these things out so quickly, and that ended up costing us a lot of money. So I think to be fiscally responsible, we really need to have all of the answers about this. And I agree, Member Combs. Surprisingly enough, I've gotten more concerns about this in my district from my Republican constituents than I have actually of my Democrats. So I don't think this is a partisan issue. I think that no matter who you are, if you live in a community, you want to make sure that decisions around public education are being made thoughtfully, with the student centered, with all of the details, ironed out, and really doing what's best for our kids in our community. So I look forward to more conversation about that. And I have 30 seconds left. So with that, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm School Board Member Lynn Gray, representing District 7 countywide. You're watching Hillsborough Schools TV, and together we're preparing students for life.